Hi everyone, happy Halloween. Welcome to my first ever live Halloween broadcast. Hope you're all doing well. I say this is the first time I've ever done a live Halloween broadcast, and that actually it's the first time I've ever done a live in the daytime actually. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll just see how things go in regards to the duration of the stream. So I hope to go on till at the very latest 5 o'clock. But as I say, guys, I'll just see how it goes and that. So what are you all doing then for Halloween? Have you got any plans? Any good movies in the pipeline and that you're going to watch? Feel free to let me know. I'm still waiting for I'm going to be doing me pickups video within the next day or so, because I've got quite a few new horror movies and that on Blu-ray which I'd like to show, so that'll be coming up very, very soon. Still no joy with the Terrifier double movie Blu-ray what I've ordered from Amazon, so hopefully fingers crossed they might get some more in this week. Alright then guys, so it's great to be here with you all on Sunday afternoon and that, as I say, my first ever live Halloween stream and that, so you talk about anything related to Halloween, the movies, the tradition, good books, you read for Halloween, anything really, and of course any horror movies in general, so okay then guys, so as I say, it's great to be here with you all on Sunday afternoon. So I'm going to go into the comments now, so just bear with me. Melanie's here. You okay, Mel? Thanks for stopping by. Very nice to see you again. Right, Gerard is a movie fan. Hello, Alan. You okay, Gerard? Thanks for dropping by. Nice to see you. Nice. Mel's wishing me a happy Halloween. Very happy Halloween to you as well, Mel. Yeah. The Fazbear Brothers is here. Hi Alan, happy Halloween to you as well. Looking forward for tonight's, this afternoon stream, isn't it? I hope to do one on Thursday night actually. Right. Sam KA is here. You okay, Sam? Alright Alan, how are you keeping? Happy Halloween for tomorrow. Oh, thanks very much, Sam. Yeah, I'm great, thanks Sam. Hope you are as well. As I say, I'm still waiting for me Terrifier. What I've ordered, the two Terrifier movies, what I've ordered off Amazon and that. So it would have been nice to have included them, in the latest upcoming pickups and that, because I can't wait any longer than that. I thought I'd do the pickups and that sometime this week, but hopefully, you never know, it might come, sooner than I think and that. Yeah, a bit of a bummer that, ordering it online and that, and pre-ordering it, making sure. And I got the message from Amazon saying they'd sold out, so because usually they're pretty good, when you pre-order anything. You get it promptly, but as I say, fingers crossed, it'll come hopefully sometime this week. So there you go. It's one of those things, I suppose, isn't it? Right, Melanie is saying, thinking of watching Murder by Decree. Murder by Decree? I haven't seen that. Is that more a kind of a thriller? A thriller thing? Is it a series? I'm not too familiar with that, Mel. Right. David Price is here. You okay, David, mate? Good afternoon, Alan. Yeah, very good afternoon to you as well. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yeah. Gerard, hang on, sorry. Gerard is a movie fan. I have to work tomorrow, and in the evening, no time to see a movie. But yesterday, Reanimator and Bride of the Reanimator, two great movies. Yeah, starring the great Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, love the Reanimator movies, based on the story by H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, when I first saw that the Reanimator, not long after I got my first video recorder in early 1986. I was completely blown away by how great that movie was, and I've seen it again later, a couple of years later, in DVD, and then again on Blu-ray. Fantastic. It's a real good fun horror movie and that, and I always remember the head and the bowl and that, when he chops his head off the doctor and that. The special effects were top class in those Reanimator movies. I must admit, the third one, I wasn't too fussy on that, where he was in prison, Yeah, that wasn't too, although the special effects were good, you know, yeah, I wasn't too keen on that one. I thought that was the weakest of the three. But I believe they've remade it as well, haven't they? A foreign production. I haven't seen it. Like, I've seen trailers of it and that, but oh yeah, I thought Jeffrey Combs was really on the money as Herbie West, yeah. And a couple of years ago, I heard they were going to do another one with Jeffrey Combs in, where he was supposed to be. He was going to, believe it or not, it was going to be set in the White House. He was going to reanimate the President of the United States. Imagine that. He was going to reanimate Uncle Sam, yeah, but it fell through, yeah. Maybe budgetary problems and that, yeah. But it would have been nice to see that when he was in the White House. He's very, very reminiscent of Dr. Frankenstein, isn't he? Herbert West, yeah. Dr. Impossible's here. You okay, Doctor? Murder by Decree is a great Sherlock Holmes story. Oh, right, it's Sherlock Holmes, is it? Yeah, as I say, I don't know too much about that. Murder by Decree, yeah. I used to like Basil Rathbone playing Sherlock Holmes. Peter Cushing did a good job as well, yeah. I didn't see that TV series in the 80s. Was it Jeremy Brett that took him off? I didn't get round to seeing that, but a lot of people think that's the best one. That's the best rendition of Sherlock Holmes. Tony Crosby's here. You okay, To? Nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Good afternoon, Alan Macy. Yeah, say good. You know, it's good to be here. Yeah. So just get a swig, guys. Oh, yeah. So as I say, guys, if you're any particular favourite horror movies lined up for Halloween, you know, mention them here, and that, you know, always interested to hear about people's favourite horror movies and that, what their go-to movies are, you know, for Halloween. Yeah. Tell you while we're on the subject of Halloween movies, that box set from Scream Factory, I think that's a bit of a rip-off, to be honest with you. I mean, like, you've got to buy the box. You've got to buy the box to sort of, like, you can't buy the movies, you know, individually, as was the case last year. You've got to buy the box to get the 3 movies and that. And, you know, at the end of the day, they're not really the greatest, are they? They're not the greatest movies in the Halloween franchise, because I was going to pick them up, but when I saw you've got to get the box, and the box, I watched a couple of YouTubers you know, unboxing them, and you know, the box is very flimsy by all accounts. You know, they should have really released them individually, like they did, you know, like they did last year. I couldn't see the sense really, and the box, the actual art on the box is nothing really to write home about. You know, it doesn't sort of like hit your eye like the Friday the 13th, you know, box set artwork did. But yeah, but you never know. Somebody might sell them on eBay individually. So keep my eyes peeled, you know, on eBay and that. But you know, if they're selling them individually. Dr. Impossible, afternoon, Alan. Afternoon. Richard Brown, you okay, Rich? Went to a Halloween themed rock concert last night. Saw 7 metal doom thrash bands, all for free. Oh, right, yeah, good. Dr. Impossible says, so what are you watching on Halloween, Alan? Give us your watch list. Well, I haven't got a definite watch list at the moment, because what I sometimes tend to do, I've got loads, with being a huge horror fan, I've got loads and loads and loads of movies, you know, where I can just take off my shelf and just sort of like watch for Halloween and that. I don't watch Halloween, the first Halloween, or the others, like every year, but most years I watch them. Yeah, maybe a couple of haunted house movies and that, you know. I haven't really made up my mind yet, to be honest, you know. Yeah, I've got a good selection, like, so I've got plenty to choose from. Melanie is saying, Murder by Decree is a thriller based on Jack the Ripper. Oh, right. Starring Christopher Plummer, James Mason and Donald Sutherland. Great actors, yeah, great cast, yeah. I love Donald Sutherland in the remake of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, yeah. Good actor, Donald Sutherland, yeah. And he was in that one with Stephanie Powers. That was the first movie I ever saw him in, where the mother's a religious nut, and she sort of like keeps Stephanie Powers prisoner. Fanatic Hammer movie, yeah. He was one of the young sons, a great actor. I tell you what he was good in as well. That one, The Bell Witch. Was an American Haunting. He was very good in that. He played the farmer, didn't he? Yeah, great actor, Donald. And his son as well, Kiefer Sutherland. Gilson, hi Alan, happy Halloween to you as well, Bri, thanks for dropping by. Sam K.A. says, Bride of the Reanimator, the best one. That's your favourite one, is it? Yeah, it's good, that one. Yeah, but I do prefer the original, the very first one. But yeah, I do like the Bride of the Reanimator. Great special effects as well. David Price, I have ordered that Count Yorga box set. Oh, good. Yeah, it's great, that. I saw your review. Remember watching them with my mum back in the 70s on TV. Yeah, same here. I watched them on 70s television. Yeah, which is the case with a lot of my favourite horror movies. I first watched them in the 1970s, on British TV. I always remember my mum and dad around, I think it was around about 71. They used to go to the pictures every Friday night in the Birkenhead ABC and Isolde. They used to show all the old horror movies, old now, but then of course they were at all the go, weren't they? And I remember my mum saying, "Oh, this Count Yorga character, he's like Christopher Lee. She said, you swear it was Christopher Lee." So of course my curiosity was instantly piqued, So of course it was many years before they showed Count Yorga on British TV. Loved the Count Yorga movies, and that scene, I always remember when I think of Count Yorga, I think of that scene. It's so very reminiscent of the Tate LaBianca murders in 1969, where they just burst into the house and they slaughter all the people in the house, only the vampires, but a lot of people have said that scene's very, very reminiscent of the Charles Manson murders. I thought that was one of the most horrific cases in criminal history. That poor girl, Sharon Tate, she was just sort of, her career was basically just starting off, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Sharon Tate. Yeah, I love her in Eye of the Devil and the Fearless Vampire Killers and that. Oh, it's a great shame what happened in that. Yeah. But getting back to Count Yorga, I always remember that scene in the house where the vampires just burst in and he just mercilessly and indiscriminately slaughter, all the people inside the house. But I'm looking forward to revisiting the Count Yorga, and it's a lovely box set that what Arrow's just released. They've done a real good job. That the posters, the extra features. I'm a sucker for extra, bonus features and that. When I see a horror movie come out and it's got a plethora of special features, I'm right there. And of course, if the picture quality is a step up from the original Blu-ray, no question, gotta buy it right away. Right, so back to the comments then, guys. Brian says, really enjoyed your Halloween movie list. Oh, thanks very much, Brian. Yeah, I enjoyed putting it together. As I say, there's so many movies I've got on my shelves what I could have picked in that. I could have done 100 top Halloween watches and that, but I thought to myself, I'll put a couple in what me subscribers might have seen, maybe Trilogy of Terror Part 2, you might have seen that, so I thought I'd throw that one in and that. But there's loads, and of course the Grapes of Death, where they drink the wine and they turn into zombies. That's a good one, that, although it is like subtitles. So I really enjoyed putting that video together. I was in talking about horror movies within HMV in Liverpool yesterday, and I picked up one of my all-time favourites, horror classics, Circus of Horrors. Lovely slipcover as well, so that'll be in my next pickups. Starring Anton Differing. If you haven't seen Circus of Horrors, you want to check it out. It's a great movie. A lovely coloured movie as well. So I'm looking forward to watching it on Blu-ray. It's a great movie, Circus of Horrors. Richard Brown is saying, isn't Murder by Decree based on the book Jack the Ripper, The Final Solution by Stephen Knight? Most probably is. As I don't know too much about that movie. Sam says, currently got Nightmare Before Christmas on with the little one. Oh right, so do you like that one, Sam? A lot of people do, don't they? I'm not really into animation, to be honest, but when I was a kid, I used to love the cartoons. When I was a kid, I loved the Pink Panther, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, all them, Bugs Bunny. But as I've grown up into an adult, I don't really, the interest has waned in watching animation. Even the Batman animated series I didn't bother with, or the Spider-Man animated series. Dr. Impossible is saying, I do like the 7% Solution with the late great Nicol Williamson playing Holmes. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Robert Duvall playing Watson was terrible. but the story is by Nicholas Meyer, who directed Time After Time. All right. Gerard is a movie fan. Not long ago, I heard there was a third movie of Animator. Gonna buy it on eBay with a few other movies. Still working on list. What I want from eBay. I think the one you're referring to, Gerard, is Beyond Reanimator, where he's in prison. You know, Dr. Herbert West, he's in prison and he's up to his old tricks again. He's experimenting on the prisoners and that. Yeah, I think that's the one you're referring to. Arrow did a great release of that. Tony Crosby, have you watched the Awakening yet, Alan? I just watched it. It was slow, but it was a good twist. I haven't watched it yet, so no, I haven't watched that. Yeah, it's a great edition, that. Yeah, nice slipcover and that. Yeah, so I'll most probably watch it this week. Gina, hi Alan and everyone. You okay, Jean? David Price, happy Halloween for tomorrow. Thank you. I'll be watching Halloween 1978, Taste of Blood of Dracula, great Dracula movie starring the great Christopher Lee. Blood on Satan's Claw, another great movie starring the lovely Linda Hayden, great folk horror. And Fright Night, yeah, oh, Fright Night's a fantastic one. Yeah, Roddy McDowell, 1985, that's the best Fright Night of all of them, that. I wasn't too keen on the sequel, I wasn't too keen on the remake, but that 1985 one is a top-class vampire movie. I love Fright Night. Stacey's here. You okay, Stace? Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Afternoon, Alan. Yeah, as I said before, it's my first ever Halloween live Halloween special. So as I say, it could go on. Hope to go on to around about like maybe 5 o'clock at the latest and that. Yeah, I'll just see how it goes. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for dropping by, Stace. You doing anything special? You and Carl doing anything special for Halloween? Psychological horror. Hi, Alan. You okay? It's Amanda and Ian from Ghost Dog Films. Oh, nice, Amanda. Oh, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, and Ian as well. Yeah, thanks very much as well for sending the copies of the Crucible of the Vampire. I'm going to sort something out with them, with my subscribers and that. Oh yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, really enjoying your movies and that. Keep up the good work. Yeah. Just dropped in to wish you a wicked Halloween. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, it's very nice to see you. Yeah, and as I say, I'm looking forward to your next production. Yeah, cheers. Dr. Impossible is saying, I've got a few watch titles lined up. Do you remember And Now the Screaming Starts, Alan? That's the one with the isn't that the one with the... I always get mixed up with these. There's one with Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing and Vincent Price where they got the experimenting, and then there's one with Peter Cushing in, isn't there? And is it Stephanie Beacham? Yeah, I always get mixed up with those two. Yeah, but the one with Peter Cushing and that's set in the olden days, isn't it? But the other one, that's more of it's set in the early 70s and that. Yeah. Oh, very good. Right. Fazbear Brothers is saying, hi Alan, it's my birthday on Halloween. Oh, very happy birthday. Yeah. Hope you watch some good movies on Halloween and that. You have a nice time, whatever you decide to do. Edward's here. You okay, Edward, mate? Thanks for stopping by. Afternoon, Alan. Happy Halloween. Thank you. Same to you. What's your thoughts on the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise? I'll tell you right away. The first one. That's my all-time favourite, yeah, no question, yeah. When I first watched Freddy Krueger, when I got me VHS video back in 1986 and that, oh yeah, loved that movie and that. I do like part 2 actually, Freddy's Revenge. I thought that gets a lot of stick, but I quite liked it. When he terrorises Jesse and when he appears at the pool party, I thought that was a good one. That a lot of fans lamented the fact that Nancy wasn't in it, but that didn't bother me. As long as the story's good and that. And I do like the Dream Warriors, but I thought, to be honest, with Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors, the movie started to show signs it was going down a comedic route, if you know what I mean. Because, Freddy's saying, prime time bitch and all that, I thought I was starting to make him a little bit, they're putting, facetious comments in and that, which I don't like. I don't really like, with horror movies, putting humour in. I think, in regards to mixing horror and comedy, I think it should be like a definite horror comedy. It should say so, like Abbott and Costello and Frankenstein, when you knew right away that was going to be another horror, you know, it's going to be a horror comedy. Do it right with American Werewolf in London. You got the balance right there. It's very, very hard, as I've said before, it's very hard to get that balance right between horror and comedy. But yeah, and after, you might as well say, Edward, after A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, right down, the series went right down for me. I hated the Dream Master, hated the Dream Child. I thought the scenarios were utterly ridiculous. And they made him a bloody cardboard cut-out comedy figure, Freddy Krueger. And also as well, his face, he sort of like, he had like a different look. Like a sort of like a different look to his face and that, you know. In the first one, he looked a bit like it really melted. His face was really melting and that, you know. And you didn't really know who he was. So it's always number one for me. That's my number one. That's the only movie of the Elm Street franchise I've kept in my collection. You know, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Revenge, and the Dream Warriors. I did have them on DVD, but I'll probably get them again. But after that, I've got no interest whatsoever. Even the one with where he sort of like make it like real, like you know, like Heather Langenkamp. They make it real. What was that one? Was that Freddy's Returns or something, wasn't it? And New Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, wasn't it? Where you see her making the movie and that, and Freddy comes into the real world. I wasn't too keen on that, really. You know, I think, but what Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, after that, the series just went down. You know, and I can see, to be quite honest with you guys, I can see the Halloween franchise going the same way. I've heard a lot of bad reviews about this new one and that, and I've tried to avoid the spoilers because I want to see it for myself, check it out for myself. But I'm not holding my breath that I'm going to enjoy it. I didn't like that last one either. The one, you know, Halloween Killers. I wasn't too keen on that. Evil Dies Tonight. Bloody hell, how many times were you going to say that in the movie? But yeah, getting back to the Freddy Krueger franchise, yeah, the first one was the best for me, definitely. There was this, I think we have an intruder in the proceedings. Over the Kia call up. Oh, I hope you're not a troll, mate. I'm not interested in Star Trek. Dr. Impossible. Jesus, Alan, you want to watch a TV movie from 1976 called Helter Skelter? I've got it. I've got that one. Charles Manson, Helter Skelter. I've got it on DVD. It's a good movie. Yeah, about Charles Manson. Manson was played by Steve Railbag. It's a good film. Yeah, it's great. Extraordinary performances and it is chilling to the bone. Yeah, oh god, it is. Yeah, I had the book as well, Helter Skelter, written by the lawyer. Yeah, it was a Brian Lugosi. He had a funny name, didn't he? Brian Lugosi or something. Yeah, it was very, very. You know, we went into detail on that, what happened in that. Oh yeah, horrific case. But yeah, I've got that. I've got the Helter Skelter on DVD, and if you're interested in the Charles Manson murders, I highly recommend. Guys, if you haven't seen Helter Skelter, get yourself a copy. It's a great movie. That one, has anybody seen The Haunting of Sharon Tate? I've heard mixed things about that, mostly not very good. You know, they sort of like played her up that she was having nightmares, that she was going to be killed and that. But yeah, I've thought about checking it out, but I've heard that many bad reviews about it. You know, I've had second thoughts and that. But I'd be very interested, you know, to hear if any of you guys have seen it, The Haunting of Sharon Tate, what you thought of it. Yeah, very, very horrible, you know, a heartbreaking story, that, you know, that case and that, you know, very horrific. Gene is saying, have you ever thought of doing a Giallo special live stream? Yeah, coming up soon. Yeah, lovely Giallo movies. But having said that, there has been a few turkeys that haven't lived up to my expectations. But my favourite one is that one there, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, starring Susie Kendall. Yeah, Dario Argento movie. That's my favourite one. Yeah, I like the others as well. What he done as well. Torso's a good one. Yeah, although that wasn't an Argento one. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on the what's the name? That one with the fella that was in Longstreet in. What's it called? That one? I always forget the name of that one. You know the one I mean, don't you? Carl Malden, he's blind and he does crosswords. Wasn't too keen on that one. Cat o' Nine Tails, wasn't too keen on that. That was more of a thriller than a horror. Yeah, I didn't like that much. But yeah, I love me Giallo movies. Blood and Black Lace is a good Giallo movie. Yeah. So that'll be on the horizon and that, doing the Giallos. Yeah. Hang on, guys, you've got a bit of a nuisance here. Oh. Sorry about this, guys. You always get them, don't you? Mustn't have anything better to do on a Sunday afternoon. Sorry, guys, I'm just catching up on there. I have nominated a couple of moderators to keep a check on this thing. Right. Okay. Gerard, as a movie fan, is saying maybe idea for a video in the future, the best music scores from horror films. Yeah, good idea. Well, one of my favourite scores is that John Carpenter Halloween, the theme from Halloween 1978. Loved that one. I like the American Werewolf as well, you know, combining the Blue Moon and all that, you know, in with the film and that. I like that. I like the Universal soundtracks on the horror movies, you know, the Wolfman, you know, Frankenstein. I love them. One of the most creepiest ones, guys, I don't know if you agree with me, is Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. Now, you know what I mean. If I mention The Exorcist, Tubular Bells was the theme to The Exorcist, and I don't know what it was, but when that first came out, and playing it on the radio, they always seemed to play it, and we used to have our radio on, like, you know, till about 1 or 2 in the morning. It used to come on all the time in the early hours of the morning, and that Tubular Bells. I said, there's the theme from The Exorcist, and that, you know, send chills down your spine, playing it so early, you know, in the early hours of the morning, and that, you know, yeah, oh yeah, Tubular Bells, yeah, very, very creepy, yeah, but oh yeah, I love the Universal soundtracks, as I say, Halloween. I like the theme from Jaws as well. That's a good theme, yeah, the theme from Jaws. Brian is saying Scream and Scream Again is the Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing and Vincent Price film. That's the one, yeah. Scream and Scream Again, that's the one, the modern one, yeah. Dr. Impossible, Beecham and Cushing, Alan, yeah. Love Stephanie Beecham, love Peter Cushing. Yeah, she was good in, both of them were good in Dracula AD, 1972. Yeah, oh yeah, and of course Stephanie Beecham, she's been in quite a few horror thrillers, hasn't she? I remember her when she was in Connie. Yeah, anybody remember Connie? Yeah, very fine actress, Stephanie Beecham. Just scroll up, guys. Richard Brown, it says Scream and Scream Again is the one with Peter Cushing, Vincent Price and Christopher Lee, yeah. Mel saying Jack the Ripper, The Final Solution by Stephen Knight was the inspiration for From Hell, starring Johnny Depp. Yeah, remember From Hell? Yeah. And Jack the Ripper, yeah. Saw that a couple of years ago, but I don't remember too much about it. But yeah. Right, Dr. Impossible says, I do like the Euston films, Thames Television, Jack the Ripper, a drama from 1988. Michael Caine and Lewis Collins were terrific together. And it's a very well shot by Alan Hume, great cinematographer. Lewis Collins was from my neck of the woods, God rest his soul. Yeah. I think he was born in Gorby Road. Yeah, up the Bidster area. Yeah, oh, he's great, Lewis Collins. Yeah, Bodie. He's played Bodie, didn't he? David Price. Do you remember the first 18 film you saw at the cinema, Alan? Mine was in 1983, Videodrome. Now, believe it or not, you'll be surprised, guys. What I'm going to tell you, I have never, ever seen a horror movie at the cinema. Never. That's a God's honest truth. I've only seen it. Yeah, I'm not really a cinema goer. Never have been. Not even when I was a kid. I wasn't a fanatic on it. The only few movies I've seen on the cinema is on the buses. All the On the Buses movies. My mum took me to see them in the early 70s. Oliver, the musical, great movie. Oliver, you know, with Mark Lester. And what's the other one? Oh, Pinocchio. Yeah, they're the only movies I've seen on the cinema. I'm not really, never have been a great cinema goer. Yeah. So I bet a lot of you guys are surprised, when you've learned I've never seen not one single horror movie on a cinema. Yeah, God's honest truth. Yeah, I like to watch them all on the telly. You know, yeah. I know a lot of people do love going to the cinema, but yeah, it's never my mum and dad used to go to the cinema all the time, and my aunties and that, you know, used to go to the cinema regularly to watch the horror movies and that, especially on a Friday night. Used to have a double bill on the ABC or the Esoldo and that, yeah. And but yeah, I've never been a great cinema goer. Richard Brown, didn't Alan Hume do some Carry On films as well? Not too sure, mate. Tony Crosby, what's your thoughts on Zoltan, Hound of Dracula? Yeah, it's not a bad movie, although I did lament the fact that Count Dracula wasn't in it throughout. Not a bad movie. I haven't got that one. I did have it on, well, I had it on DVD many years ago, yeah, but I think there's a Blu-ray now out of Zoltan, so I might revisit that at some point. Dr. Impossible, yes. Gina, yes. Cat of Nine Tails wasn't that good. No, I didn't like it, Gina. Didn't like that at all. I love the bird with the crystal plumage. I can put that movie on any time and watch it. Now, actually loosely based on a novel. I think it was from I think the novel was written in the 50s or 60s. Yeah. Oh, it's a great movie. I've got a great edition by Arrow. I've got the hard box, special edition and that, loads of features and that, and of course stars me, one of my all-time favourites actresses, Susie Kendall. Oh, I love Susie Kendall's movies, yeah. It's a great pity she didn't do more, more horror movies and that, yeah. She was great in Spasmo. That was the movie that made me a Susie Kendall fan. Spasmo, that's a great movie, yeah. Torso, love that one, and she's in that one, Tales That Witness Madness. She's in one of the segments in that. She's been in a couple of comedy movies as well. She's guest starred in The Persuaders, Roger Moore and Tony Curtis. Yeah, very very pretty lady. Yeah, honey blonde hair and they call she's got like the brown eyes, what they call puppy dog eyes and that. Oh yeah, she's very very nice lady as well. Yeah, and I hope to do my top 5 favourite Susie Kendalls in an upcoming video, so watch out for that. Yeah, I love Susie Kendall. I think she's a great actress. Melanie Gibson saying The Haunting of Sharon Tate was not very good. Oh yeah, as I say, I've heard a lot of bad things about that, Mel. A different take, if you like me and interested in the case, I recommend Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've got that one, yeah. And a remake of Helter Skelter for TV. I don't think I've seen the remake of Helter Skelter for TV, but I've got the original one from 1986. Yeah, that's a great one. So the part starts off like the maid, of course, discovering what what happened in that, in the house and that Cielo Drive and that. Oh yeah, I think I think they did a great job with that one. That 1976 Helter Skelter. Yeah, oh yeah, every time I think about that case, it's really upsetting and that, oh, she was a lovely lady, Sharon says, and really, by all accounts, like a very nice person as well. Dr. Impossible, Alan Hume shot quite a few Carry On films, right? He also worked on Return of the Jedi with its director, Richard Marquand. Oh, right. Richard Brown saying an underrated Dario Argento was Sleepless. Don't think I've seen that one, Richard. Dr. Impossible, Helter Skelter is mind-bending, yeah. And yes, hardly anyone knows about it at all, yeah. Yeah, the lawyer that was on the case, is it Vincent Bugliosi, I think his name was. Yeah, he was on the case, yeah, he was the lawyer at the time. Sadia and Mandy, have you heard about that Sophie Trobia last bit of I don't know what you're on about there. It's troll time. Get the zap gun out. Right, okay, moderators, if you're about, they're coming in, they're sneaking in here. If I skip past any comments, guys, and they are genuine, you'll have to forgive me, because sometimes these trolls, they start off like the Trojan horse, the old story of the Trojan horse. They come in first like seemingly harmless and that, and then once they said a couple of things and that, basically all hell breaks loose in terms of the the rather unacceptable verbality they use, shall we say. But yeah, so I apologise if I've skipped any genuine comments and that. Yeah, you always got to be alert for these idiots. Tony Crosby says, I've got my box of sweets in for the trick-or-treaters, yeah? Do you get many at the door, Alan? It varies, it varies too. Each year, 1 year we didn't get any, and depends on the weather as well, it just depends really, it just varies from year to year. But yeah, we've got our sweets ready as well. Richard Brown saying the book Helter Skelter is 700 pages. It's quite a big read. Yeah, 700 pages about the Manson family, Sharon Tate murder. Yeah, oh yeah, very, very shocking case, that very disturbing case. Yeah, oh yeah, the book it took me quite a few months to get through. Yeah, and there's a lot of sort of like, he doesn't just sort of like talk about the Tate LaBianca killings. He talks about other incidents as well that could have been linked to Manson. You know, other people that were killed and that. So you've got all that as well. You've got the peripheral characters, but of course, obviously, the main focus of the book is centered on Sharon Tate and LaBianca, the LaBianca murders. Very detailed book. Right, The Friendly Men, Alan, Prey was good. Prey, which one's that? There's been a couple of Preys, hasn't there? I don't know what one you're referring to there. The Friendly Men, didn't you watch The Exorcist? I saw it a couple of years ago on Channel 4, and it was a very, very creepy movie. That, it's the part where the head goes round and that, and the infamous scene with the crucifix. They cut out, I believe they cut out the spider walk, didn't he? Where she scuttles down the stairs and that spews blood up. That wasn't, as far as I can recall, that wasn't in the when Channel 4 showed it a couple of years ago. Quite an unpleasant movie to watch. You know, it's as I say, it goes without saying, it caused a lot of shock and horror, you know, when it was released. And I believe there was nuns and priests outside the cinema, you know, and people getting taken. I don't know how true it is. People getting carted away in ambulances and that. You know, sometimes they tend to exaggerate these things, don't they? Like they're saying about the Terrifier 2 now, people's being sick in the cinema. Yeah, you just wondered to yourself how much of it was true. But it did. Having said that, it did shock people. I remember I was in school in 1974 in secondary school, and when it came out, they always used to say, "Have you seen that new movie, The Exorcist, what's come out, with the girl gets possessed by the devil?" Oh, they would say, "Oh God, I couldn't sleep for weeks after watching the movie." And I remember my mum coming in saying, "Oh, Alan, have you heard about that new movie that's come out in America? It came out, didn't it? And it was a Boxing Day in America, 73, and then it came out over here. I think it was March. It was either February or March 74 it came out in Britain. But all through that year, it was nothing to talk about The Exorcist, and Linda Blair, this upcoming new actress, and that. What a great performance she pulled off in that. You know, the book's even worse. I mean, I haven't read the book right through, but I've picked up on Waterstones and a couple of the chapters. Oh God, I had to put it down, you know. My mum's read the book and that. She's read it right through and she agrees it's pretty shocking. A lot of bad language in it and that, you know. But oh yeah, a lot of people say it's the scariest horror movie of all time, don't they? But yeah, and some people say it bored them. It's all a matter of opinion, really, isn't it? Yeah. But so I've just seen it once and that. But yeah, it's very, very unpleasant movie to sit through. And that deep, horrible voice and that. Walk on, always believe. Watch it, Alan. I hope you are well. And happy Halloween for tomorrow. Sorry for being late. I forgot it was 1 p.m. I just made my cucumber and celery juice, right? And just finished washing up, okay? David Price, wow, I am surprised though. Jaws was my favourite back in 1975 to 76. Saw that loads of times, and on its re-release still makes me jump. Yeah, great Jaws, isn't it? It's a classic, absolute classic. Lost count of the times I've watched that. I've got the book as well by Peter Benchley. That's great, yeah. Although that is a difference in some ways, you know, to the actual 1975 movie. Love Jaws. But yeah, it's absolute classic. Again, like The Exorcist, I remember in 1975 when I was in secondary school, they were all raving that summer about this movie called Jaws and that, you know. And I thought it was a comedy movie at first. I thought about somebody had a rather voracious appetite and that, you know. Didn't know. When I heard on Radio 1's Newsbeat, we used to have on every dinner hour, you know, it said about this movie shot in America called Jaws, about a killer shark, you know. Oh God, yeah. And when I first saw it on the telly, I was blown away. You know, fantastic and that, you know, and that music, yeah. Well, you know what I mean, don't you? You know, yeah. Oh, fantastic Jaws, yeah. I wasn't too keen on the sequels. No, I wasn't too keen on them. First one's the best. Just like A Nightmare on Elm Street. Right. Dr. Impossible is saying, Do you remember Motel Hell? Yeah, that's where he kills the people. He puts them in the heads in the ground, doesn't he? Yeah, that's like a kind of a fun horror movie, that one, isn't it? Yeah. I was debating as to whether to watch my Blu-ray, directed by Kevin O'Connor. Yeah, I watched it a couple of times and I got rid of it. Like there's some movies like I watch about 2 or 3 times and I get rid of them. Then I say to myself, I'm not going back to that now. I've watched it a couple of times and that. Yeah, so I do that from time to time. Watch it maybe 2 or 3 times. Say, well, that's it now. It can go, But yeah. As I say, it's a kind of it's got comedic elements in Motel Hell. Tony Crosby, Susie Kendall was great in Up the Junction. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Oh, she's great in that. Yeah, Dennis Waterman. Yeah. The only little gripe I had about that was when because I like her long blonde hair, when she she didn't cut her hair in, she put a wig on, but she changes her hairstyle, doesn't she, about I think it's about halfway through the movie, and she puts this like wig on, like very, very short. Well, of course in the movie she cuts her hair, hasn't she? That was the only little gripe I had about that, because I love her with her long hair, and in all her other films she's got long blonde hair, and I love girls with long blonde hair, I really do, and she was natural as well. It was honey blonde. She's one of the loveliest looking ladies I've ever seen in cinema, Susie Kendall. Actually, guys, saying before about doing a Susie Kendall special, what I might do, I haven't done it. I haven't done a live stream all about the glamour girls of horror. So watch out for that one. Special live stream. Who's your favourite glamour girl of the horror cinema? Yeah. Oh, I've got quite a few. Veronica Carlson, Linda Hayden, Evelyn Ankers. Oh yeah. So that will be put on the to-do list for an upcoming video. Yeah. Hammer were especially remarkable for having lovely ladies in their movies, weren't they? Stunning ladies, especially in the Dracula movies. Some lovely looking girls in those Hammer movies. David Price is saying Grizzle was another film I saw in the cinema. That was kind of a Jaws riff-off, but still. Is that the one? Do you mean Grizzly Bear? Yeah, I had that on Blu-ray. A couple of years ago. I wasn't too keen on that one. I got rid of that one. I presume you mean Grizzly. Yeah, there was a lot of Jaws rip-offs, wasn't there? When Jaws came out, it sort of like opened the floodgates, didn't it, for all Animals on the Animals on the Rampage movies, just like James Herbert's Rats. I've got that in my book collection. My all-time favourite horror novel. When he wrote The Rats in 1974, it spawned a lot of animal rip-off books and that. They were all over. You'd only have to go into W.H. Smith and you see them all lined up, birds on the rampage, cats on the rampage and that, I'm surprised he didn't do a bloody cows on the rampage, yeah, but it spawned a lot of, and yeah, most of them were very substandard, spawned a lot of, substandard Animals on the Rampage rip-offs, yeah, didn't read all that many. The ones that came, in my opinion, very close to James Herbert's brilliance, Rats, was the Crab books by Guy and Smith. And if you've read Guy and Smith books, The Night of the Crabs and all that, they were good. I read a lot of them in the 80s. They're quite good then. Edward's saying, what's your thoughts on Freddy versus Jason? Not a fan. Although the concept was good, because I love the monster bashes, what you call monster bashes, where all the monsters get together and fight each other. The concept was good, but the proof wasn't in the pudding, unfortunately. But, I've got it in the box set, Friday the 13th box set, so most probably sometime in the future I'll revisit it, but I'm not a great fan of it. Yeah, I didn't like the story, and I thought the fight scene was a bit corny. Yeah. Walk On Always Believe is saying, I pre-ordered the Terrifier duo set, right? But annoyingly they cancelled my order. I've not been refunded. Yeah, the same's happened to me. My order hasn't been cancelled, but they said we're waiting for more stock to come in. I've got to wait another bloody week or so. I think I will cancel it. It's unacceptable that, you pre-order it and that, and well, of course, I suppose thousands and thousands of people have snapped it up. What can you do? But it's still annoying, because I say Amazon are usually on the ball when it comes to fulfilling orders and that, But I'll just see if it comes this week. I'll keep my fingers crossed anyway. Yeah, a lot of people have said that Terrifier 2, it's even more brutal than the first one. Art the Clown. Okay, Richard Brown saying, didn't one mentally disturbed woman set fire to a baby after seeing The Exorcist, thinking it was possessed because it wouldn't stop crying? Oh, I don't know about that. But I do know there was, I read on one of the forums and that, a very, very disturbing story about a woman. She watched it and it damaged her psychologically. She had to have counselling and everything and that. You know, she was having these, like, I don't want to go into too much about it, like, because it's not very nice. Case I had to stop reading it about halfway through what she went through, because she saw it. And she said she's sorry she watched it, because after she'd watched it, she was having these weird hallucinations. But I'll stop it there, because, you know, it's not a very nice case. She had to have therapy, you know, counselling and that. You know, because some people are very susceptible, aren't they? You know, if they suffer from bad nerves and that, and they watch a horror movie, it can play on their minds, and this is what you've got to watch. Although I love horror movies and that, I'd say to anybody, if you're of a nervous disposition and you're on the nervous side and you let things play on your mind, don't watch it. You know, no matter how many your friends or your relatives, well, most probably your relatives, you know, you suffer from nerves and that, you know, they would say don't watch it. But, you know, your friends and that, you know, you knock around and say, oh, go on, dare you to watch it. Don't watch it. Because, you know, it's, you know, like I say, a lot of people have watched some of these horror movies and that it has affected them. But in minority in that, you know, because most people just watch them and say, oh, it's only a movie, you know, special effects. But, yeah, I would advise anybody, you know, if they're very highly strung or they suffer from bad nerves, don't watch movies like The Exorcist, especially on your own at night. You know, but oh yeah, very, very disturbing case, and I couldn't read anymore. It was too disturbing and that. But yeah, the woman's all right now, like, thank God. You know, she's okay. But you know, there's a couple of I think about 2 years it went on for. Yeah, so yeah, it's got a bad reputation, that Exorcist movie. Yeah, well, my mum saw it, and she went round to my cousins a couple of years ago. And she said, what's all the bloody fuss about? Because she thought it was slow and there was nothing really in it. I suppose it's a kind of when you think about it, it's a kind of a Marmite movie. You're either scared witless by it, or you say, it was a load of rubbish. It's one of those movies, isn't it? The Exorcist, yeah. But oh yeah, you know, as I say, I would definitely say, if you suffer from nerves or you know, let things play on your mind, don't watch these you know, explicit horror movies. The Friendly Man, hey, I know we didn't see eye to eye on that Thigh movie, The Maid. I still enjoy your stuff. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, I wanted to like that movie, you know, The Maid, but you know, I thought it was a bit slow, you know, but you know, there you go. The Friendly Men is saying Prey is the Predator. Prey is the Predator prequel. I'm not really into the Predator movies. Yeah, I'm not a fan of them, so yeah, I wouldn't know. Not really a fan of them. Dr. Impossible. Did you ever see a BBC drama called Ghost in the Water, Alan? No. Early 1980s story, but I remember watching it on transmission. Very well done. Ghost in the Water. No, I don't remember that one. See, they're releasing that. Talking of ghost titles, they're releasing Ghostwatch, aren't they? The Michael Parkinson a TV thing from 1992. Yeah, they're releasing that on Blue. I think it's 101 Movies. Yeah, I don't know whether to pick that up or not, because I've only seen it once. I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember people were creeped out by it, weren't they? They thought it was real. But I might pick it up and that. I don't know, because yeah, revisiting that. Yeah, but I said I don't remember when I watched it on night. I don't remember too much about it, like. But I might pick it up. Paul Conway's here. You okay, Paul, mate? Thanks for dropping by. Afternoon, Alan. Will you be picking up the Dunwich Horror on Blu-ray? I saw the Dunwich Horror. Oh God, a good few years ago, Paul. But yeah, it was releasing a Blu-ray. Is it Arrow? Is it, or one of those major labels? Might do, actually. Dr. Impossible. Susie Kendall was flipping Grace in a thriller written by Alison McClure. Oh, Fear is the Key. I've got that one. On DVD. Yeah, and they're bringing the Blu-ray out in I think it's January, so that's high on my list. Yeah. The fellow that played Petrocelli's in it, isn't he? He's the main protagonist, Barry Newman. Oh yeah. Oh, anything Susie Kendall. Anything that Susie Kendall's in, I'm right there. Yeah, she's one of my all-time favourite actresses and a big crush, a big movie crush. Yeah. Fear is the Key, written by Alistair MacLean. Yeah, the film has a stunning score. Yeah, and a great car chase. Yeah, it has. Yeah, and the underwater scene as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, Fear is the Key. Yeah, I've got the DVD of that, and I can't wait for the Blu-ray to come out. Yeah, so I'll be snapping that up, I tell you. Oh, Pete's here. You okay, Pete, mate? Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, thanks. Afternoon, Alan. I hope you are well. I'm very good, good, thanks, Pete. Hope you are as well. Yeah, as I say, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, nice to see you again. Walk on, always believe. Have you heard of the Sawney Bean cannibals from Scotland? I have. Yeah, I've heard of them. At around 1575, said to have cannibalised at least 1,000 people. Yeah. Within 25 years, it influenced Hills Have Eyes, Wrong Turn. Yeah, I believe it did. And there was another one as well called Sawney. I watched that on DVD a good few years ago, and that was sort of like basically retelling a story in a modern setting and that. Oh yeah, I've heard of the legend of Sawney Bean. Yeah. Right. Paul Conway is saying, I totally agree about Up the Junction. Yeah. That wig ruined the film. Oh God! You're in my sort of like line of thinking there. Yeah, when she put that wig on. Yeah. Oh yeah, it made her look older, didn't it, Susie Kendall? Yeah, because she started off like I say, she had a long hair and that. And I tell you what, she's in as well, Susie Kendall. She's only got a bit part in. It's a Sarah Love. I think she's one of the teachers. Yeah, I think she's one of the teachers, Susie Kendall. Yeah, she played a couple of bit parts as well when she was an upcoming actress in some of those earlier movies. Earlier movies, like she's in the one with Christopher Lee in the Circus. She's in that as well. Again, she's only got a bit part. Yeah, now she's one of the actresses I would have loved to have met. Yeah, absolutely love Susie Kendall. Yeah, nice person as well by all accounts. Yeah. But I love that, to say, I love that one, that bird with the crystal plumage, what she's in, yeah. I love the twist as well at the end and that, yeah. But yeah, getting back to Up the Junction, yeah, I hated that when she, well, of course, as I say, it was a wig. But when she, like, cuss her hair, gave the impression she cuss her hair and that, because I like the honey blonde hair and that, you know, as most fans of Susie do, yeah. So, but I say in all the other films I've seen. Oh, while we're on the subject of Susie, there's another movie she made, where she plays like this nurse, and is it World War One? Yeah, she plays this nurse, and she's sort of like involved with the military and that. Yeah, I forget the name of it. I think it's got a woman's name. I've got to get that one as well. Yeah, she's kind of a nurse. And anybody know the title of that, guys? Enlighten me. Yeah, but I know she plays this nurse and that, and I think it's World War One or some other kind of war movie. But yeah, as I say, if any of you guys know that movie, you know, enlighten me on it. Right, Walk On Always Believe is saying, is Monster Club with Vincent Price worth picking up? Yeah. Top class horror anthology movie, yeah, I love that one, yeah, The Monster Club, yeah. B.A. Robertson, he sings in the nightclub, yeah, I used to love B.A. Robertson, I've said this in previous videos, yeah, I used to love B.A. Robertson, Bang Bang he sang, yeah, but my favourite one of his is To Be or Not To Be, yeah, I love that one, To Be or Not To Be, yeah, but Bang Bang was his first, that was his, my memory serves me correctly, that was his first major hit in 1979, in the summer of 1979, yeah. I think he's still performing in that, B.A. Robertson, but yeah, I always remember him in that, B.A. Robertson. That's great, that one, The Monster Club, yeah. Yeah, John Carradine, I think he plays the Art Chetwynd Hayes, you know, the great horror writer. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely worth picking up, that one, yeah. And of course, Vincent Price is his usual tongue-in-the-cheek self, you know. That's what I liked about Vincent Price. He knew like he was a horror actor, and he'd sort of hammer up, wouldn't he, in that. He'd go into these sort of like dramatic monologues, wouldn't he, in that, you know, like, well, he'd done like Shakespearean work, hadn't he? So he'd go into these dramatic monologues and that, you know, they have wronged me, you know, and that sort of like that voice of his and that, you know, that iconic voice, yeah. It's quite difficult to take up, actually, but excuse the awful Vincent Price impression, guys, yeah. He's like, they have wronged me, they shall be destroyed. This is my theatre. Sorry about that. I won't go on anymore. Yeah, but it's very, very hard to take off. Yeah, there's a fellow a couple of years ago on one of the show, going back a few years ago, guys, and he really took Vincent Price off to a T. You'd actually think it was him. Yeah, it was on one of the. Any of you guys remember it? The Seaside special shows and that in High Summer. You know, Leslie Crowther used to be on a Sunday night. That used to be on a Sunday night, and Seaside Special would be on Saturday. But this group, they were like the Grumbleweeds. Any of you guys know the Grumbleweeds? And the Baron Knight, there's this particular fella, and he'd done this. Oh, fantastic impression of Vincent Price. He really sounded like him in that, you know. Yeah, I bought my first tape recorder then, and I actually taped it, and I was playing it over and over and that, you know. And I said to my parents, bloody hell, he doesn't half sound like Vincent Price, yeah. Yeah, he says something like, he's often heard so much of the words. Yeah, but of course he done a better job than me in that, yeah. But, oh yeah, he was a fantastic, yeah. You know, almost Mike Yarwood standard. Remember Mike Yarwood? Richard Brown. There is a Scottish horror film about Sawney Bean. It was quite good. Yeah, as I say, that could be the one I mentioned before. Set, you know, sort of like bringing the story into a modern day setting. Yeah. I tell you guys, I was in Liverpool yesterday shopping. I picked up another movie as well as the Circus of Horrors. I picked up one called In Fear. It's set in Ireland. If any of you guys saw that one, it's basically about this couple. They're going to I think it's a rock concert in Ireland and that, you know, in the open field like Glastonbury, and they get lost in the Irish countryside. They're riding round and round. I won't give away too much about it in case you haven't seen it. It's called In Fear, and I got it for £2 in CX. A lovely slipcover. Yeah, but it's like, getting back to the story, they're driving round and round the Irish countryside, and they get lost. And he picked this fella up, you know, this hitchhiker. And I don't remember too much about it because it's a couple of years since I saw it. He picked this fella up, and he's a bit of a weirdo and that, yeah, and of course, he's alright at first now, but, you know, as the journey goes on and they become more and more lost in the Irish countryside at night, all hell breaks loose. So, yes, I'm looking forward to revisiting that. Yeah, £2 in CX, In Fear. So if you haven't seen In Fear, I'd highly recommend that one. Right. Okay, Tony Crosby is saying to walk on, always believe. Oh yes, the Monster Club is definitely worth picking up. Yeah, I'd certainly second that too. Paul Conway, my granddad loved reading Night of the Crabs. Yeah, it was a bit racy in part. Yeah, Guy and Smith. Yeah, oh yeah, there was a few Mrs. parts in that, wasn't there? Yeah, as there was in the Rats. Yeah, I read that, as I say, as a very young teenager. The Rats, and when I got to the rather Mrs. Parts, yeah, oh yeah, pretty earays and stuff. Walk on, always believe, to Tony Crosby, thank you. Edward's saying, what's one horror movie that terrified you as a kid? Now, used to watch a lot of horror movies when I was a kid. Well, of course, I love the Universal horror movies, but they didn't really terrify me. I thought they were good fun watches, but they didn't, you know, have me terrified in case the Wolfman was at the bottom of my bed. Although I thought the concept of Larry Talbot changing into a werewolf was pretty terrifying. He had no control over it, did he? You know, and he went all over Europe looking for help, didn't he? You know, the gypsy woman's son cursed him. I thought the concept was pretty terrifying. The Frankenstein monster concept had a bit of a sadness to it, didn't it? Because, you know, he didn't really want to be created, and he sort of like, I used to love the way Boris Karloff used to express the monster's, agony, you know, his mental agony, because he'd do these gestures, wouldn't he, with his hands, like that, like that, you know, always fantastic, Boris Karloff. The ones after that, the actors that played him after that, I thought they went into a kind of like a robotic-like rendition, didn't they? They sort of like just walk stiffly. And I think Glenn Strange, he did speak a bit. He just went, yes, master. You know, sort of like that, sort of like a kind of like, you know, emotionless voice and that. Yeah, but it was Boris Karloff put all the emotion into the Frankenstein monster. But yeah, getting back to your question, movies that terrified me as a kid. Now, it's not so much a movie, but there was one, I think I've said this before. I don't know if any of you guys remember a series called Wicked Women. It was shown in early 1970, and showed you, well, basically they were all true cases. Well, that made it terrifying in itself and disturbing. They'd actually happened, and it was mostly in the Victorian times. And there was this one particular one, Florence Maybrick one, The Poisoner, and it was pretty graphic for its time and that, and it showed you that, you know, she's poisoning her husband and that, and it showed John Carson played the husband, and that. It was a true case. It was in Liverpool, I think, Florence Maybrick, and it was pretty disturbing, like showing him on the bed, and like the way, you know, even today thinking about it, was pretty disturbing the way he was suffering on the bed and that. So that sort of like shocked me a bit. I tell you what did give me the chills. You know, the old Haunted House movie with Richard Johnson, the part where the two women are on the bed and that, and the noise outside and the door going boom, 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 and the next minute you're expecting a ghost to burst in. That gave me the chills. That scene, they were quaking on the bed, and they had the booming noise outside the door, so that was pretty creepy. The Gorgon was pretty scary, you know, when I first saw it, you know, the Hammer movie, the Gorgon, that was pretty disturbing when I first saw her face. I thought it was the most hideous thing I'd ever seen in my life. I suppose Psycho, when at the end, when I can't even speak, I haven't even had a pint, where it reveals his mother in the chair in the cellar, swings around and she's all rotted away, that was pretty chilling. Yeah, that shocked me, I seem to remember. Well, seeing it now, you see it now, it's nothing, is it? Because you've seen it that many times. But and of course, the Janet Leigh, when she got knifed in the shower, that was pretty disturbing. But yeah, oh yeah, but as I say, like the majority, well, 99.9% of horror movies now, I watch them just for fun, really. You know, there is one or two scenes that do creep me out, but on the whole, I just basically just watch movies. Don't think anything of them. Just watch them, just a bit of fun, like in that. You know, but oh yeah, but getting back to that series, that Wicked Women, there was another one in that Wicked Women as well. You might actually, I don't know if they released the DVD of that. Don't know if Networks released the DVD of that, but I think there was only about 6 or 7 episodes. But it was all to do with a murderer from Victorian times, and it was pretty way ahead of its time in terms of like shock value. You know, and there's another one as well with Anna Massey. It was a Christina Edmonds. That was pretty shocking as well. She was a bit of a loony, you know. Oh yeah, what they done, like, you know. You think some of the crimes now are heinous, but when you watch things like that, you know, programs like that, you know, Victorian crimes, you know, you think, bloody hell, you know, that was pretty. That was a pretty shocking case. Paul Conway, let's scare Jessica to death. I've got that one. It's a good one. Freaked me out a bit when I was 9. Yeah. I'll tell you guys, while we're on the subject of movies that really freak you out, I've just finished watching season 2 of Night Gallery. You know, the Rod Serling series. Towards the end, there's one particularly disturbing episode in that, and it's called A Caterpillar, and it's supposed, a lot of fans agree, it's the most disturbing episode of the lot. I won't tell you what it's about. It's just called A Caterpillar, and it's very, very disturbing. Yeah, so if you're not a fan of creepy crawlies, I advise you not to watch it. If you've got the series, to skip past it. Very, very creepy, very, very disturbing, and you feel the guy's pain as well. Let me tell you what happens to him. So as I say, if you've got the series, watch out for that one called A Caterpillar. Very, very disturbing, based on a short story, I believe. Yeah. But it's a good see. Granted, those episodes of Night Gallery are a bit of hit and miss, but there's been some real gems in them. You know, there's one good one with Clint Eastwood's ex-wife Sandra Locke. That's a pretty good one. Yeah. So I'm gonna be getting season 3 of Night Gallery. I think that's coming out just before Christmas. So I'll have the 3 series then. But yeah, as I say, that episode. Excuse me. That episode, The Caterpillar, is very, very disturbing. And as I say, if you don't like creepy crawlies, stay clear of that one. Right. David Price is saying, The Entity 1981 was a film that sends shivers up my back. Yeah. Especially when you hear noises in the loft at night. I know, yeah, it's quite creepy, that Entity, isn't it? Yeah. Wasn't it The Exorcist as well? Didn't the mother hear the noises in the attic? My memory serves me correctly. There was noises in the attic, yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you mean about The Entity, yeah. Right. I tell you what scenes what do creep me out in horror movies, guys. I don't know if you feel the same. When somebody's coming up the stairs slowly, and you're in that, like the main protagonist, they're in the house on their own. It's usually at night, and like they hear movements and then hear the footsteps ascending the stairs slowly. Oh, and then the door, you're expecting the door to open. Pretty much like what I was saying before about the haunting. You know, that part where they were booming, they heard the booming, the booming noise outside the door. Oh yeah, anything like that. Like when they hear the footsteps, you know, treading, you know, up the stairs slowly. Oh yeah, gives you the creeps. Paul Conway's saying, any fans of Squirm? All those worms are pretty disgusting. I can't watch that movie, Paul. Yeah, creepy crawlies again. Yeah, Yeah, a bit like my mum in that respect. Yeah, I'm not really a great fan of creepy crawly movies. Fazbear Brothers is saying, have you ever seen Sleepy Hollow starring Johnny Depp? I did see a Sleepy Hollow movie going back 4 or 5 years ago. Don't remember too much about it. I don't remember who was in it, but I have seen one Sleepy Hollow movie, and I believe they've made a series, haven't they, guys? On, is it Netflix? Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I've only seen one Sleepy Hollow movie. Right. Dr. Impossible is saying the score to The Entity by Charles Bernstein made that film 50 times more suspenseful. Yeah. Great score, just don't listen to it on your own late at night. I know what you mean, it's like Tubular Bells, isn't it? Yeah, it always used to come on that when I was a kid, and on the radio late at night and that, yeah. And that Exorcist face pops up now and again, does it, on YouTube and that, I remember one night when I was downstairs, my mum had gone to bed and that, and I was watching, I don't know what I was watching on YouTube, all of a sudden it popped up with a bang and that. Oh yeah, guys, we're talking on the subject of that. Have you ever heard of a phenomenon called Screamers? It was all the rage on YouTube a few years ago, where there was basically on YouTube and that, and what it was, if I can remember all the details, what it was, this video would come up and you'd watch it and say, stare at the screen, come closer, and you come closer, come a little bit closer, and just like a black screen. Listen, I've never actually seen one myself. And come closer, and when you come closer, bang, you get the bloody Exorcist face exploding on the screen. Yeah, oh yeah, it looks like it'd be a bloody heart attack, that. Yeah, and on the subject of that as well, another thing, a couple of years ago, I read in the paper, somebody spoofed that. Was it a railway station? Yeah, somebody done the spider walk down the steps, and it creeped people out and that, and they done it with the Ring as well. Somebody pretended to, I don't know how they done it. Come out of a television and that, the girl, it was like Samura, the girl in the Ring, they pretended to come out of a screen and that, put the fear of God of people. I don't agree with things like that. I think it's bloody stupid doing things like that. It's like when somebody comes behind you and grabs your shoulder. We do that a lot in horror movies, don't they? Just as if you do that in real life, if you didn't want to play a prank on anybody, if they were standing in the woods and that, you'd just say, you say the name, wouldn't you? Like, you okay, it's only me. You wouldn't just go and say, oh, it's only me. That's another horror movie trope that irritates me, when you put the hand on the shoulder and they jump out their skin. Do you agree with me, guys, on that? Right, Tony Crosby. Carol White was also a favourite of mine. Grace and Poor Cow and Kathy Come Home. Yeah, definitely. I love my kitchen sink dramas. Right. Melanie Gilson is saying, what's everyone's opinion on the Enfield haunting? That's a good one, that was in me Halloween 10 movies to watch on Halloween, the Enfield haunting. Yeah, Timothy Spall plays the investigator. Is it Morris Gross? Yeah, Timothy Spall plays the main protagonist, like investigating the case, and that was reminiscent of The Exorcist, wasn't it, where the girl's voice went deep and guttural. Yeah, I've got the book by This House is Haunted by Guy Lyon Playfair. Yeah, great book and that. And a lot of people witnessed that, didn't they? Even the police witnessed the strange things and that. Yeah, oh yeah, I love that case. Yeah, I'd say if it's actually happened, I think it adds that little bit more, that bit of shock fact, that bit more shock to the story, doesn't it? It's actually happened. I was just saying before about Wicked Women, and the Helter Skelter, it's actually happened. It makes it all that more disturbing. Richard Brown, wasn't Fear is the Key Ben Kingsley's debut film? I don't remember, but don't remember Ben. Was he in it? Did he have a bit part in that? It's quite a while since I watched it. Yeah, the fellow who played Gandhi. But I say Susie Kendall and Barry Newman. They're the only two actors I really remember. And after that, I haven't watched the DVD for ages, so not too sure on that. Melanie Gibson, The Entity is good. Yeah, I'd certainly second that, Mel. Yeah, great supernatural movie. I tell you a good supernatural movie I can recommend, came out around about that time, The Sentinel That's a good one. The Sentinel, based on a novel. Yeah, it's about this girl. She rents this apartment. She's like a model. She poses like for fashion. For this photographer, and she rents this apartment. And there's like there's a Sentinel. The titular title is this sort of like basically a priest. I think he's blind, and he's guarding the gates to hell. I won't give away too much about it. He's guarding the gates to hell in this apartment block and that, this big high-rise apartment block, and he's always looking out the window and that. And it's a great one, that. Yeah, I highly recommend that one, The Sentinel. Right, Dr. Impossible of Counterpunch. I think John Carradine's in that, memory serves me correctly, The Sentinel. Dr. Impossible to Richard Brown was, yeah. Paul Conway, Arrow, Pussing Out the Dunwich Horror, good. They just announced it. I must probably pick that up, Paul, yeah. Nick Berman, hi Alan. You okay, Nick? Thanks for dropping by. Great to see you. Hope you're doing good. Oh, I'm great, thanks, Nick. Yeah, fine. Yeah, hope you are too. Yeah, I'm enjoying this Halloween special live. Thanks for turning up, everybody. Anyway, it's great to talk to you all. Right, Dr. Impossible saying Carol Weiss was in a very underrated gangster film called The Squeeze with Stacey Keach. Good actor, Stacey Keach. David Hemmings and Edward Fox, yeah, two great actors again. The film is available in the Warner Archives. Right, don't think I've seen that one, Doctor, The Squeeze. Sam K.A. Monster Club is a great film, yeah, definitely, yeah. Sam again, Watching Demons tonight. Oh yeah, the one with it in the cinema. Yeah, I've got the 4K of that. Yeah. Paul Conway says, have you seen Beyond the Door with Juliette Mills? I have, yeah. Italian Exorcist rip-off, yeah, it is, yeah. And she's quite creepy as well, Juliette Mills. Another one of the movie crushes, the lovely Juliette Mills. And her sister Hayley Mills is nice as well. But yeah, I saw that when we first got Roku. We've got the Roku stick and put in and got all the movies on. I saw that one. Very creepy, yeah. Yeah, very, very, very reminiscent of Regan McNeil of The Exorcist, yeah. Oh, yeah, very creepy, that. David Price, The House of the Long Shadows is a good film with Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, yeah. Vincent Price, it is, yeah. It's a good one, that, yeah. A lot of people, it's basically like a rather divide in regards to the ending. It's a very divisive movie, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of people love the ending. A lot of people hate the ending, yeah. But I won't give away the ending in case any of you guys haven't seen it. But yeah, very controversial ending. Psychological horror. Speaking of horror queens, we almost had Caroline Munro in Crucible of the Vampire, but we couldn't get the schedule to work. Oh, that's a shame, yeah. Oh, I love Caroline Munro, yeah, fantastic actress and that, yeah. Saw her a couple of years ago at the Liverpool HorrorCon. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to get her autograph, but I did see her at the stand and that, in the queue and that, and I saw her wandering around and that. Very nice lady as well, yeah. She goes to the Dark Side magazine, the Dark Fest and that, when you have the sort of like the conventions on, yeah. And of course she's made many other horror, well, she's made a lot of horror movies, but she's also made many non-horror movies as well. Oh yeah, she's great, Caroline Munro. I love Crucible of the Vampire as well, of course. Gina Walpole, have you seen The Haunted House of Horror? I've got it, Gina. Yeah, I got that one. Richard O'Sullivan and Frankie Avalon. That's a great one there. Yeah, I got a nice edition with the slipcover. I love that one. I believe it was made around about 1969, wasn't it? Yeah, great British horror movie that. And George Sewell's in it, isn't he? I think he plays a copper, doesn't he? He was a great actor, wasn't he, George Sewell? That rugged chap. He'd have been good playing in Jack Regan, wouldn't he, in Sweeney? Well, of course, John Thor was good in that. But as a sort of like alternative, I think he would have made a good Jack Regan. He's a very rugged actor, George Sewell. Yeah, he's a great actor, George Sewell. He nearly always plays a copper, doesn't he? Melanie Gibson, I was 14 the first time I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street and I couldn't sleep that night. Yeah, it was quite a shocking movie when it first came out, Mel, wasn't it? Yeah, especially the part where the girl floats up in the air and she's got all blood all over her and that, and it's the scene in the school, where he appears in the corridor and that, pretending to be the girl and that, he's like that, oh yeah, some like, quite creepy scenes in that one, where he's in the streets and that, chasing in the streets. Richard Brown, that Irish horror film you mentioned, is it the one that's a bit like The Hitcher? Does it have a scene set in a junkyard? That's the one. Yeah, scene set in a junkyard. Yeah, that's the one. Paul Conway is saying the best tale in the Monster Club is the creepy town of ghouls feeding on all the dead in the cemetery. Yeah, it's a good one, that. Stuart Whitman, yeah, very fine actor. Yeah, Stuart Whitman plays a horror director scouting for film location. That's a great one, that. Yeah, I love that movie, Paul. The Monster Club. Yeah, it's a great one, that. Yeah, fantastic. I love me horror anthology movies. Richard Brown says Beyond the Door is fantastic. Yeah, Juliet Mills. I'd read it was supposedly to be really bad, but I loved it. Well, yeah, it's quite a disturbing movie, that one. Beyond the Door, very, very Exorcist, very much along the lines of The Exorcist. Yeah, oh yeah, the makeup was good, and that very creepy character when she became possessed, Juliet Mills. Yeah, it's quite creepy, that. But yeah, not the sort of movie to watch late at night on your own. Dr. Impossible. I saw Dick Mass's The Lift the other night. Oh Lord, that's a very watchable and crazy movie about a demonic lift in a tower block. Some interesting deaths. Is that the one with Naomi Watts in? Because she made... There's been two, hasn't there? Yeah, there's been The Lift, and then there's been another one as well with Naomi Watts. Wasn't one a foreign one? Oh God, yeah. I'm not sure which one Naomi Watts was in, guys. So if any of you can enlighten me on that. But yeah, I know what you mean about that movie. Right. Richard Brown, that Maybrick case you mentioned, her husband James Maybrick supposedly wrote the Diary of Jack the Ripper, which is now proven to be a fake book. Yeah, I believe he had links with that, didn't he? The Jack the Ripper book, James Maybrick, yeah. Brian Gilson, the original Woman in Black was really creepy when I watched it as a kid. That's creepy, that, the Woman in Black, especially the TV one. I think that's more creepy than the one with Daniel Radcliffe in. The notorious scene in the bedroom. Oh, talk about a bloody jump scare, guys. Oh, jumped out my skin when I first saw that. The book's good as well, by Susan Hill. Right, Robert Turner, a very tense film is John Carpenter's Someone's Watching Me from 1978. I haven't seen that one, but I've heard a lot of good things about that. Roberts, yeah, I'll have to get that one for my collection. Right, sorry guys, the comments have just jumped up a bit here. Psychological horror is saying The Thing really freaked me out. I think it was that head on the spider's legs. Oh yeah, it's got a big fan following, The Thing. Must admit, it's not one of my favourite horror movies and that, and yeah, it's not one I could go back to and watch again and again and again, but I understand the love for it. I do love the snowy setting, and I thought Kurt Russell was really on the money in the character what he played in that, and the creature was good. But compared to Halloween, John Carpenter, it's other movie, it's always Halloween for me over The Thing. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I've got the it's based on a short story, isn't it? Who Goes There? I think it was written in the 1950s. I've got the original one, The Thing from Another World, in the HMV Premium range and that. So that's in me sort of like to watch pile. Paul Conway is saying an episode of Space 1999 freaked me out as a kid. Dragon's Domain, yeah. A tentacled alien eats people and spits out their mummified corpses. Oh, yuck. Oh, God. Not the sort of film to watch if you've got a weak stomach. But, oh, yeah. Melanie's saying The Tinglet is a good one. That's a great one, that, starring the late great Vincent Price. Yeah. I always remember the what's the name he done with that when it came on the pictures. The director, he had like this gimmick, didn't he? William Castle. he used to have this gimmick and that, and the tingler, he put something in the seat or something, and at a critical stage, at the most frightening part of the movie, the button would be pressed and people would get this thing in you know, the seat. They go, oh, what was that? You know, so it's like an electrical thing, a short, sharp shock, if you like, and he jumped like that, you know. Yeah, he was very, what's the name? He was noted for those gimmicks. William Castle, yeah, I love the tingler, yeah, I've got that in my collection, my William Castle box sets, you know, great one that. Right, Dr. Impossible is saying, do you remember another BBC production called The Nightmare Man? It started off as a horror drama, then became a sci-fi thriller. I've heard of it, Doctor, but I haven't watched it. That was another one that stuck with me. Right, yeah, I say I've heard of it, but I've never watched it. Fazbear Brothers, the original Woman in Black freaked me out, yeah. The jump scare in that film still scares me now, yeah, oh yeah, absolute classic that. David Price is saying, I remember Square 1976 coming out of the cinema, lol, remember the film poster down the London Underground. I had the paperback book as well years later, right, yeah, oh yeah, Worms, yeah, oh yeah. It's a tough movie to watch that if you've got a weak stomach. Paul Conway, there's another one called Slugs, yeah, directed by that chap who did Pieces. That was based on the novel by Sean Hudson. Any of you guys read any of Sean Hudson's books? He's very much like James Herbert, but he's a bit more extreme again than Jim. I've read a couple of Sean's books and they are quite graphic, yeah. He doesn't pull any punches when he writes his horror stories, does Sean. Richard Brown says The Nightmare Man was made by the same team that did lots of Doctor Who stories, writer Robert Holmes and director Douglas Carnfield. Right, okay. Fazbear Brothers, internet screamers. I know a few. One is a video of a car driving down a road and you're supposed to follow to see a ghost, but the car passes behind the bush, then all of a sudden a zombie pops up. Oh yeah, another notorious screamer. Yeah, I don't like them, but what I've heard of them, I've never actually participated in one, but I don't like the sound of them. It's bad enough in a movie when you've got the volume of your telly turned up and you get a bloody big jump scare, you know, makes you jump out your skin. But those screamers and that, yeah, I don't like the sound of them at all. You know, frightening people off to death and that. You know, don't like that sort of thing. Walk on, always believe. Can fellow horror fans guess the horror song I'm listening to? The zombies we're having fun. Oh, I know that one. The Monster Mash. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. Awful Boris Karloff impression, guys, I have to admit. Monster Mash, without a shadow of a doubt. And I think that is my all-time favourite pop horror song, The Monster Mash. Done brilliantly by Bobby Pickett and the Crypt Kickers. Fantastic song, and you'd think it was Boris Karloff, wouldn't you? You know, actually in that record, he done a great job with that Boris Karloff impression. Yeah, got the lisp down to a T. I've been watching. Any of you guys remember the Thriller series with Boris Karloff? He sort of like bookended it. Well, he's mostly in the beginning, really. And he'd come on at the beginning and talk about it, but like very much like Alfred Hitchcock Presents. He'd come on at the beginning and say a couple of lines about the story and that, and of course tongue in cheek and that, you know, in his creepy voice and that, you know, his facial expressions and that. And yeah, Thriller, the Boris Karloff series, and that's great. And that, watched one last night, the most famous one, The Pigeons from Hell. Very, very creepy story. Yeah, so if you haven't got Boris Karloff's Thriller in your DVD collection, I highly recommend you get that. Some great stories in it. You get the odd few turkeys, like as you normally do with all series of this kind. Fazbear Brothers is saying, does anyone remember the Scary Maze game? No. Richard Brown, yeah, it was the Monster Mash. Sorry about the awful Boris Karloff impersonations, guys. I think it was a bit better than Vincent Price's though, don't you? Bridges, hiya Bridges. Presume it's not Bridget Bardot. Did Bridget Bardot have made a horror movie? Hey guys, did do you know Bridget Bardot ever made a horror movie? I don't think she did, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Bridget Bardot ever made a horror movie. Walk On, Always Believe, Richard Brown, yup. The Doctor says a series that ITV made in the early 1980s was an anthology series about true life killers. It was called Lady Killers. I remember that vaguely. Network released all of them on DVD. Some were very chilling with great acting. Oh, that's yeah, that sounds similar to Wicked Women, that Doctor. Yeah, I vaguely remember that one. Lady Killers, yeah. Maybe they redone some of the stories, you know, like Florence Maybrick, Augusta Fulham, Christina Edmonds, you know. Yeah, I remember some of the women's names from that Wicked Women. I'd say Augusta Fulham, Christina Edmonds and Florence Maybrick, but I don't remember any of the other women in it. But very creepy series. That scared the brown stuff out of me when I first watched that. Yeah, my mum said you shouldn't have watched it. But you know, when you're a kid and that, you watch it. You know, if you can get away with it, you can watch anything when you're a kid, can't you? I used to stay up and watch the Universal monster movies and that. You know, they were the movies that got me into horror, as I've said many times on my streams. Edward says, what's your favourite horror franchise? Now I've got many. Halloween, the Universal Frankenstein series, the Hammer Frankenstein series, the Dracula franchise series, the Friday. I've got many. Yeah, Jason. Yeah, although towards the end there's a few turkeys and that. But yeah, if it was pushed, I'd have to say my favourite modern day franchise. I'd have to say Halloween. Yeah. I think I could say A Nightmare on Elm Street, but I didn't like those last couple of films, as I said before. I only liked the first 3, and after that they just went downhill for me, guys. Yeah, but yeah, modern day favourite franchise. Oh, I like the Psycho franchise as well, because like he made 3 modern ones of him, didn't he, Norman Bates? Yeah. So I'd say the Psycho franchise, the Halloween franchise, and going back to later. The early 30s, 40s, the Universal Frankenstein franchise. Christopher Lee's Dracula as well, his series, yeah. Sam K.A., have you seen an Arrow release called Sleep? No, I don't think I have. Is it any good? Is that a Dario Argento movie, that? Sleep. Walk On, Always Believe is saying, I love Bobby Pickett's facial expressions when he sings Monster Mash. I've seen it, yeah. I've seen them on YouTube. Yeah, he's a fantastic singer. Bobby Pickett's and the Crypt Kickers. That's another one I could do, guys. My all-time top 10 favourite horror songs. Yeah, love that one. Bad Moon Rising. You know, movies like that. Sorry about the noise outside, guys. There's some bloody lunatic just gone past on a bloody noisy bike. Or go and get a bloody life, will ya? Bloody idiots. You think he'd have better things to do and ride around on a noisy motorbike? He's probably stolen as well. Get this all the time around here, guys. I'm sorry about this, like bloody nutcases on bikes disturbing the peace. Melanie Gibson, do you remember a film from the 80s called Demons of Ludlow? Only seen it the once, but remember I enjoyed it. Yeah, I saw it many years ago, Mel, but I forget it. Walk On, Always Believe. With Oliver Reed being in Curse of the Werewolf, I wondered if they chose him because of Oliver, with his tough, rugged look and with his sideburns and hair in it, gives of werewolf vibes, but as a human. Yeah, I love Curse of the Werewolf. Yeah. Oliver Reed, yeah, I thought he was like right up there with Lon Chaney Jr., you know, taking a werewolf off. Of course, Lon Chaney Jr. is my number 1 Wolfman, but Oliver Reed was really, as I say, he was right up there with him, you know, in terms of portraying a werewolf. Tony Crosby, the Bobby Boris Pickett Monster Mash album is worth picking up, a lot of fun. Dr. Impossible, The Lift was 1980, Alan, yeah. Bridges, Labyrinth and Dark Crystal creeped me out when I was 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, I haven't seen any of those movies, Bridge. Dark Crystal is really good, quite scary for a kids film. Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. Jean is saying, I've read a few Sean Hudson books, yeah. I enjoyed them, but they are quite graphic. They are quite graphic, yeah, they really are. Walk On Always Believe. Alan, if you like the Japanese Ring and Grudge, I highly recommend Pulse. I haven't seen that one. It's on Arrow Video. It's similar to Grudges and the Rings. Right, I'll have to watch out for that one. Dr. Impossible. I love the atmosphere and Eyes of a Stranger, made in the early 1980s, yeah. Serial killer on the loose in San Francisco, and it's really creepy, right? From the producers of the original Friday the 13th movie. Okay. Right, Melanie Gilson. I think the Diary of Jack the Ripper got proven to be a fake, but interesting all the same, right? Tony Crosby, Move Over, Mike Yarwood. Oh, I want to say that. Mike Yarwood was a fantastic impressionist. Melanie is saying Bridget Bardot was in Spirits of the Dead from 1968. Oh, was she? Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that movie, Mel. I'll have to watch out for that one. Yeah, I wasn't too sure about Bridget Bardot if she made a horror movie. I'll have to watch out for that one. David Price. Right, Alan, my friend, been a great joy with this live stream as always. I am off now to have my Sunday lunch. Oh, okay, yeah, David, I hope you enjoy your Sunday lunch. Now, but we'll watch the remainder of this live stream later. Happy Halloween, guys. Thanks for coming by, David, mate. Enjoy your Sunday dinner. Yeah, very nice talking to you. Yeah, have a nice Halloween. Yeah, cheers. Richard Brown. I think Bridget Bardot did do a horror film with Roger Vadim, but I can't remember the title, right? Walk On Always Believe. Yes, Bridget Bardot has been in one horror, right? Doctor says, talking about Karloff, did you see the Peter Bogdanovich film from the late 1960s called Target? I'm after that one on Blu-ray, yeah. Proved highly controversial on its release, yeah. I'm hoping that will get a Blu-ray release. They were going to bring it out, actually. But from what I hear, it's been cancelled. So hopefully it will come out again, and maybe on another label with loads of special features. Fingers crossed. It's a great one, that Targets. Love that one. Edward, what's your favourite psychological horror? Now you're asking. I've got loads. Oh God, Psycho. Man Who Haunted Himself's a good one. Roger Moore. Yeah, it's got like a doppelganger in that. Loads. Fanatic's a good one. That's a great one. Hammer movie. Love me psychological horror, but I think my all-time favourite one has got to be Psycho, the original one. The character of Norman Bates. He's really creepy in that. And he conveys this sort of like outward this exterior, doesn't he, of being a hospitable motel owner. When Janet Leigh first goes to the motel and that, but oh God, you soon see the dark side of his personality. I think that's fantastic psychological horror movie. That great movie. Anthony Perkins, and nobody could play Norman Bates like Anthony Perkins. Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Tell you what's a good psychological horror movie. Maniac. I just got that. I got the 88 Films release of that. That's a great one. That Carol Munro's in that one. Yeah, that's a great psychological horror. And if you want to incorporate ghost elements, The Innocents with Deborah Carr, that's another one. Yeah, because you don't really know if she's imagining the ghosts or the ghosts are really there. So that's another good psychological horror one. Walk On Always Believe. My favourite horror franchise of all time is Night of the Demons Once and For All with the lovely Linnea Quigley. Also, the remake is just as good, if not better. My second favourite horror franchise is Hatchet's Once and For All. Yeah, I like the first two Hatchets, but after that, they went a bit down for me. As regards Night of the Demons, I think I've seen one of them years ago, but I don't remember too much about it. I'll have to revisit that one and watch the others. Wasn't Linnea Quigley in that one where she kept ripping her top off in the one with Christopher Lee and Howling 2? Wasn't she the she-werewolf? At the end of the movie, it kept, sort of like again and again and again, repeating it, where she's ripping her top off. Yeah, I'm sure that was Linnea Quigley. Paul saying, I love Linnea Quigley, she's great in Vice Academy with Ginger Lynn. I haven't seen that one, Paul. Brian Gilson, what are your thoughts on the Conjuring and the Insidious franchise? Well, I like the first Insidious and I like the third one. I wasn't too keen on the second one. And the Conjuring, I like the first two, but I didn't like that third one. Didn't like that one at all. They're trying to give the Vera Farmiga character like special kind of powers, weren't they? Didn't do much for me. That same with Annabelle. I thought the first one was the best, and after that, they took a major dip in quality for me. I regret to say. Walk on, always believe. I've never seen a Vincent Price film. Oh right, you don't know what you're missing. But I'm instantly a fan because of the way he treats his fans. He puts in extra efforts for his fans. Yeah, oh yeah, very, very nice person, Vincent Price, and that, very approachable and that, and he's always interested to hear what you had to say, and yeah, great. He loved his art as well, and he was something of a gourmet as well. Yeah, I remember him being on a couple of afternoon shows where he was doing meals and that. Yeah, and then he made an old TV advert talking about art and that. Yeah, oh yeah, he was great, Vincent Price. He really was. I read the biography written by his daughter. That was very good as well. Richard Brown, Repulsion is a great psychological horror film. Yeah, Repulsion. Yeah, Roman Polanski. That is a good psychological horror. That. Yeah, it's great, that one. Catherine Deneuve. Yeah. I've got the Criterion release of that. I love that one. Yeah, great transfer as well. Walk on, always believe. Can you suggest any Vincent Price horrors? Theatre of Blood, The House of Wax, The Witchfinder General. He made many, many good ones. Please, I own House on Haunted Hill. That's a good one. And House of Wax with Charles Bronson. Madhouse is a good one. I'd say Theatre of Blood is one of his most horrifying. The Fly. Oh, he made loads, yeah. But yeah, definitely the Theatre of Blood. The Dr. Fives, the first one. The Witchfinder General. The House of Wax. The Mask of the Red Death's a good one. Yeah, The House of Usher. Oh, there's loads. He's made loads. Fazbear Brothers Insidious is a great film. Yeah, I'd certainly second that. Love the first one. Fazbear Brothers, any thoughts on BBC's Ghost Watch? Yeah, as I was saying before, I was thinking about picking it up, the Blu-ray. Watched it in 1992 just once. I don't remember too much about it, but I remember a lot of people were creeped out by it, weren't they? And Michael Parkinson hosting it, and Sarah Green and Mike Smith were in it, weren't they? Yeah. I might pick the Blu-ray up. Walk on, always believe. Linnea Quigley isn't in Howling 2. You may be thinking of Sybil Danning. Yeah, Sybil Danning. You always get mixed up with them. Yeah, Sybil Danning is the one. That's it. Yeah. Paul Conway. Have you heard of The Witch's Mountain? Is that the one with Christopher Lee in? A Spanish film made in 1973. Mondo Macabro are putting this out. Oh, Christopher Lee made one called In the Return to Witch Mountain. Was this a different story altogether? I think that'll be a different one. What you're referring to, Paul? Yeah, but I do know Christopher Lee made one called Return to Witch Mountain. But obviously, this is an entirely different story. The one you're referring to there. Yeah. Right then, guys, so what's your normal go-to movie on Halloween? Have you got a particular movie what you watch again and again and again? I'd love to hear, love to hear what your favourite Halloween movie is. Oh yeah, there's so many, as I've said, and that, so many movies to choose from. That's a good little Halloween movie, Trick or Treat. It's like an anthology movie in that. I've got the Scream Factory edition of that. That's a great one, that. Of course, Michael Myers, Halloween, all good ones. Well, the first two are my favourites and that, Friday the 13th, of course. Psycho, The Haunting. Yeah, the original one, not the one with Catherine Zeta-Jones. And I didn't like the special effects and that. I thought they were rather cheesy, But oh yeah, it's loads to choose from. Halloween watching. Richard Brown, talking of Spanish horror, any thoughts on Paul Naschy's films? Sorry guys, I've just There's that bloody idiot again on the motorbike. Talking of Spanish horror, any thoughts on Paul Naschy films? He's okay. Yeah, he's made quite a few Wolfman movies, hasn't he? They called him the Spanish Wolfman. Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, I've got one of him where he plays Count Dracula. It's a Dracula's Great Love, I think it's called. That's a good one. Yeah, Paul Naschy. Yeah. Oh yeah, he was the king of horror, wasn't he, on the continent and that? I remember the magazines when he used to buy in the 70s, doing big articles on him. Famous Monsters of Filmland. Yeah. He's a good actor. Yeah, good. Not all of his movies are ones that go back to be honest with you. But he's contributed a lot to the horror genre, hasn't he? Walk on, always believe. I forgot I have Madhouse. I ordered this a few days ago, which arrived on Friday. I think Peter Cushing is in it, but I may be wrong. Madhouse, yeah, Vincent Price and Peter Cushing is in it, yeah. Great twist at the end as well. Brian Gilson, the church in your Halloween list video sounds really good. Have you seen Tales of Halloween? It's a good anthology film. I saw that a couple of years ago, Brian. I liked it, Tales of Halloween, yeah. It's on Amazon Prime now, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, there's a good one, The Church, yeah. Very creepy in that, yeah. And oh yeah, some of the scenes in that, like, you know, they're quite horrifying. And there's, as I said, there's one rather naughty Mrs. scene in that, yeah, involving a demon. Paul Conway, I got Count Dracula's Great Love starring Naschy. That's the one. It's great fun and gorier than Hammer. Yeah, it's a good one, that. Yeah, some good vampires in it, Paul, isn't there? Yeah. Edward says, what's your thoughts on the Wolfman 2010? Nowhere near as good as Lon Chaney Jr.'s 1941 classic, Edward. Nowhere near. Although I did like the Wolfman makeup, and I loved the way he bounded through the streets and, you know, over the rooftops, and I thought that was really good, that. And the part where he changes when he's in that thing, isn't he? Is it a chorus when he's chained up and that, and there's all the officials are all around him and that, and he breaks out and he slaughters them. Well, I think he slaughters most of them, doesn't he? Yeah, but yeah, it's okay, but yeah, I do prefer Lon Chaney Jr.'s Wolfman, as you can see by my t-shirt here. Always like to give an affectionate nod to the great Larry Talbot, you know, the most pitiable character in a whole of the Universal horror history, alongside, of course, Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. Yeah, but yeah, fantastic Lon Chaney Jr. When I first saw him in The Wolfman many years ago on the old black and white telly, I became an instant fan. And Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, the House of Frankenstein, the House of Dracula, where he got cured, and he came back again, didn't he? And Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, yeah. Iconic character, Larry Talbot, yeah. But yeah, I wasn't too keen. It was okay. It wasn't a bad movie, Edward. It wasn't a bad movie. It was okay, watchable. But when you put it alongside, when you parallel it with Lon Chaney Jr.'s Wolfman, it's always Lon Chaney Jr.'s. That's my favourite one. Richard Brown, what horror books would you recommend for Halloween? I would recommend a few James Herbert books: The Rats, The Fog, The Dark, Haunted, Stephen King, Salem's Lot, if you haven't already read it, The Shining, about the haunted Overlook Hotel, Carrie, Susan Hill, The Woman in Black, that's a good one, that's a great one, that. Graham Masterson's good one, The Manitou, that's a good one. Oh, there's loads, absolutely loads, yeah. M.R. James's Ghost Stories, they're good, yeah. And of course, if you're thinking about Christmas, A Christmas Carol, you know, by the late great Charles Dickens, my all-time favourite Christmas ghost story. Fantastic story, that. Got a good moral to it as well. Brian Gilson, what werewolf film do you prefer? American Werewolf or The Howling? I think I do prefer American Werewolf in London. Yeah, it's such a fun movie as well. It's been quite a horrifying movie. They got the comedy just right, didn't they? Between the horror elements and the horror elements and the comedic elements. The Howling's a good movie. Don't get me wrong, I do love that. But I do like American Werewolf in London. Much better. And as you can see, barely see if you can see, guys. I've got the poster up there. Tilt my camera a bit. It's just American Werewolf in London from the Arrow box set. Yeah, I love that movie. You can watch that anytime. American Werewolf in London. Love the part where they're on the moors as well. You know, when you go to the pub and that. You know, this is the slaughtered lamb. Jenny Agnes's great in that as well. Jeff Choffey, you okay, Jeff? I enjoyed that Anthony Hopkins werewolf film. A bit underrated, that, Alan. The Wolfman. Yeah, a lot of people do like that. Yeah, as I say, it wasn't a bad one. I did enjoy it, but I do. My number one Wolfman is Lon Chaney Jr. Tony Crosby, that scene in the church always reminds me of a similar scene in Rosemary's Baby. Yeah. Oh God, I know what you mean. So yeah. Oh God, yeah. I love Rosemary's Baby. Yeah. When I first watched it, I thought it was a bit of a slow burner, but as I watched it over subsequent years, I grew to like it more and more. Oh, I love it now. I love Rosemary's Baby. I've got the novel as well by R11. Yeah. Did you know they've done a follow-up as well? Whatever Happened to Rosemary's Baby, which is 1976. I think it was a TV movie. Never saw it, but I've got the Son of Rosemary as well by R11, and I haven't got round to reading that yet. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I know the analogy with the the church with the one in Rosemary's Baby. Yeah, definitely. Right, Richard Brown says I enjoyed the Anthony Hopkins Wolfman too. Yeah, thought the makeup was very good in that one as well. Paul Conway, Hammer's Curse of the Werewolf for Oliver Reed is brilliant. I'd certainly second that, especially the part where he's in the cell with that prisoner, and just the look of terror on that prisoner's face when Oliver Reed turns around and he's half changed, and that. Oh God, one of the most iconic scenes in Hammer horror history. That. Bazbear Brothers, any thoughts on the 2012 The Thing prequel? I saw it and I didn't like it. I said before, I'm not really a great fan of the Thing movies. They're okay, but they're not the sort of movies where I'd rate really high up there with my all-time favourites. A lot of people have been surprised by that when I've told them, ones that really like it. But yeah, it just didn't. Not one of my favourite horror movies, but I know a lot of people do love it. Jeff's saying, yeah, Richard. Melanie Gibson, I read A Christmas Carol one Christmas years ago and I love it. One of my favourite books, has a special place in my heart. I love Christmas Carol. Well, great story. Paul Conway, do you get any kids trick or treating? Yeah, we get a few. Yeah, as I said before, it varies, each year, and that, 1 year they seem to be coming every 5 minutes. Another year we got none. It just depends, really. Richard Brown, Oliver Reed made some great horror films. Do you have any favourites? I love The Brood, I love that, and the Devils, Curse of the Devils, yeah, Curse of the Werewolf, of course, yeah. The Shuttered Room's a good Oliver Reed movie. That's a great one, that, yeah. The Shuttered Room, I think it was made around about 1965. I spoke about that a few times in my videos, yeah. Great one. Carol Lindley's in that as well. Yeah, I don't feel like an ice cream today, thanks very much. Yeah, but first a motorbike, then an ice cream van. What will it be next? Right, yeah, Oliver Reed, yeah, The Brood's great. The Devil's Curse, yeah, Curse of the the Devil's, yeah. Sorry, it's the way you Curse of the Werewolf, yeah. Oh yeah, he's made some great movies, Oliver Reed, hasn't he? I liked him as Bill Sykes in Oliver, the musical Oliver with Mark Lester. Great. And that one where Glenda Jackson, where he comes looking for a deserter from the army. It was Echo. What's it called? That one? Echo something, isn't it? Yeah, but he's an army sergeant. He comes looking for this deserter. Triple Echo, I think it's called. And he was in the Damned movie. He was in one of the Damned movies as well. Yeah, great actor Oliver Reed. Yeah, he's great at playing villains. Right. Sorry guys, I'm just getting up to date with the comments. Walk On Always Believe is saying a few I watch every Halloween year is The Evil Dead 2013, right? Train 2008, okay. Superstition 1982. You're Next, that's a great one, that. You're Next, I love that one. We're still here, Barbara Crampton, yeah. That's got a nice snowy setting, that. Yeah, Dead Night, Barbara Crampton. Yeah, I love Barbara Crampton. Yeah, she's a great actress. Yeah, she's in the Reanimator, wasn't she? One of the was it the first Reanimator or the second one? Richard's saying we are still here is great. Yeah, as I said, got a lovely snowy setting, that the house in the wilderness and that. Yeah, Oliver Reed is underrated as an actor, mainly I think because his drinking stole the headlines. Yeah, but yeah, a brilliant actor. Yeah, I certainly second that. Jeff. Paul Conway is saying Oliver Reed great and Paranoid. That's another good one, that Paranoid. Yeah, Hammer movie, wasn't it? Yeah, oh yeah, I love Paranoid. Yeah, definitely. Melanie is saying I like Silver Bullets, great movie. Yeah, the werewolf movie. Yeah, good one. I believe, talking about werewolves, Mel, they're releasing the Blu-ray of Werewolf of Washington. Saw that many years ago on our old black and white telly. I don't remember too much about it. Yeah, I don't know if it's Synapse releasing it or one of those companies, those major boutique companies. Yeah, the Werewolf of Washington. Yeah, so watch out for that one. I tell you what, werewolf movies I'm not fussy on, guys. The Teen Wolf movies, I think they're a bit stupid. Them. Any fans of Teen Wolf movies here? Brian Gilson, I think Oliver Reed did a version of The House of Usher with Donald Pleasance. Rice, okay. Walk On, Always Believe. Speaking of Rosemary's Baby, I can't stand Frank Sinatra. Oh, Rice. He threatened Mia Farrow not to do it, but she wanted to. So he went on set and threw down divorce papers. He's selfish and unsupportive. Oh, Rice. Not a fan, eh? Tony Crosby, David Rintoul was great in Legend of the Werewolf. He certainly was too. I recommend that. Yeah, Ron Moody's in that, isn't he, as well? Yeah. When are they going to release that on Blu-ray? You know, I mean, like, it's a classic movie, just like The Ghoul. That's another great one with Peter Cushing again. When are they going to release it on Blu-ray? Arrow could release those, you know, with extras and that. Maybe you could attribute that to licensing issues, yeah, as the problem with the Hammer movies and that, you know, all to do with rights and that, you know. Right. Shane Kirkley is here and he's saying, I've just received the Gothic Fantastico box set from Arrow in the post today, Alan. 4 Italian tales of terror to watch over the Halloween period. Have you seen this set? I haven't seen this. I haven't seen it, Shane. No, I'll have to watch out for that. Yeah, definitely. Right. Mel's saying, "Don't Look Now" is a good movie, creepy movie. Yeah. Oh, you like that one, do you, Mel? Yeah, I thought it was a bit slow, but I did love the ending, the twist ending. Yeah, but it's a bit slow for me. But I take your points. Yeah, a lot of people do like it. Richard Brown, what films are in that Italian box set, Shane? Paul Conway, Tony Crosby, that needs a decent release with The Ghoul and the Creeping Flesh. Yeah, definitely. Excuse me. I'd love to see The Shuttered Room get a Blu-ray release as well. You know, the one I spoke about before with Oliver Reed and Carol Lindley. Walk On, Always Believe. Oliver Reed and Michael Caine played a small role in Bulldog Breed with the great Norman Wisdom. Not familiar with that one. Jeff saying, Melanie, is that the one with the dwarf in the red coat? Yeah, it's Don't Look Now. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, got a great twist that movie. Yeah, so any of you guys managed to pick up any good bargains lately? If you've done any Blu-ray hunting, you know, yeah, if you picked up some good bargains, yeah, feel free to, let me know. Yeah, you always got to be on the lookout, haven't you, for these bargains and that, you know. Walk On, Always Believe is saying Madhouse with Vincent Price. Not seen it yet, but it would be a perfect Arrow video release. So yeah, I've got a good release of that Madhouse and that. I can't remember the company. But yeah, I've got it. It's a lovely transfer. Yeah, it's a great movie. That he plays a fading horror actor, doesn't he? Paul Toombs. Is it Paul? It's a Paul Toombs. What's his name? Toombs. Something Toombs. Yeah. Dr. Death is the character he plays. Edward, what's your thoughts on Van Helsing? Don't like it, Edward. I think that made me one of my most boring horror movies. That one, yeah, I didn't like it. Yeah, I just didn't like it at all. It didn't do anything for me. Melanie Gibson to Jeff Joffe. Yes, it is. Okay. Jeff Joffe, cool. Jeff, Brian Gilson. I bought Hell Night on Blu-ray. That's the one with Linda Blair in, isn't it? And Monster Club. Watched Hell Night last night. It's really good. Yeah, I saw Hell Night many years ago, Brian, on the old VHS. I don't remember too much about it, but I do know Linda Blair's in it, isn't she? Yeah, so I might revisit that myself. Yeah, Hell Night. Jamie's here. You okay, Jamie, mate? Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Yeah. Jamie Frisbee, hi Alan, hope you're okay. I'm great, thanks Jamie, hope you are as well. Speaking of werewolf movies, have you ever seen The Beast Within? Yeah, I've seen it, yeah. The transformation is up there with American Werewolf in London, but more gory, I think. Yeah, I've seen The Beast Within, Jamie, it's a good one, that. I agree with you. Tony's saying, yeah, Paul Toombs, yeah, that's it. Jeff Joffe, love Madhouse, yeah. It's a great movie, Madhouse, yeah. Very underrated movie, yeah, from 1974. Richard Brown, I got the first three Ripper Street Blu-rays for $2.49 each, quite a bargain, yeah. Right, just waiting for more comments to come through, guys. So as you're all looking forward to Halloween then, is any of you going out trick or treating, any parties, anything in mind, yeah? Please feel free to let me know, yeah? As soon comes around though, guys, doesn't it? No sooner, as I said, it's just like Christmas, no sooner summer's over, then you've got Halloween on top of your bonfire night and Christmas and that, yeah? The years seem to go quicker and quicker. The older you get, I don't know what you guys think of that, but just time seems to be flying. Tony Crosby, I got the book of Madhouse called Doomsday. Oh right, I didn't know they'd made a book of it. Melanie is saying to Richard Brown, what's Ripper Street? Sam K.A., how long are you going to be on for, Alan? Well, I think I'll go till about maybe 4 o'clock, if that's okay, guys. Yeah, because I'm going to go down and grab myself some dinner. About 4:30. So I'll be on till about 4 o'clock, if that's okay. Yeah, I know. I did say I might extend it to 5, but I'll finish at 4 and go downstairs and grab myself some dinner. Thanks for turning up anyway. I've enjoyed it. So say I'll be on till 4 o'clock. Yeah. Right, Jeff Joffe, Alan, what do you think about the Salem's Lot remake? It was supposed to be released this year, but put back to next year. I believe it was put back, Jeff, into next year. Yeah. I'm not really, because my number one Salem's Lot is the 1979 one with David Solin and James Mason. That's my number one, and I don't think any ones after that have been up to that level of brilliance. I'm not counting my chickens for this new one. I'm just sort of reserving my judgments until I actually see it and that. Yeah, I didn't like that Rutger Hauer one, what they made with Rob Lowe. Thought that was awful, that one. Yeah, the David Soul one and Return to Salem's Lot, I thought that was even worse again. Yeah, well no, the David Soul one is my number one movie adaptation of Salem's Lot. Tell you guys, while we're on the subject of Salem's Lot, I think Robert Quarry, who played Count York, he'd have made a great Barlow. Said he hadn't got that fella that played the Nosferatu. Was it Reginald? I think his name was Reginald. They hadn't got that fella, Reginald, to play the Nosferatu like fiend in the Soul one. I thought what's the name would have been a great stand-in, a replacement to Robert Quarry. Because in the book Salem's Lot, if you guys have read the book, you'll know in the book the Barlow character is more like Dracula. He's very suave and urbane and that, and he's normal looking, like Dracula, pretty much like Dracula. Whereas in the Soul one, the David Soul one, he's like a Nosferatu. But yeah, if that guy who hadn't played the Nosferatu like one, they could have called on Quarry to play the Barlow, sort of like next in line. I think he would have done a good job, because he's great in the Count Yorga movies. He really is. And that's a great box set, what Arrow released. Richard Brown, in The Beast Within, doesn't he turn into an insect man hybrid? It's a few years ago since I watched that, but it's a kind of a different werewolf movie, isn't it? It's a kind of a different kind of, my memory serves me correctly, but I'm not too sure about, don't remember too much about it. Insect man hybrid. There was a kind of an insect man hybrid in that one of those Conjuring, wasn't there? Which I thought was a bit out of place in the Conjuring 2. I didn't like that. I thought that was a bit out of place there. And what's her name as well? He turned into a kind of an insect, the Dario Argento Dracula. Yeah, I didn't like that either. He turned into this like Mansus thing, didn't he? The Dario Argento Dracula. Yeah, I didn't like that. Sam saying, taking the little one for her first trick or treat night tomorrow. Oh, hope you enjoy it. Paul Conway, isn't Linda Hayden in Madhouse? I think she is, I think she's got a bit pass. Yeah, I think she gets bumped off at the beginning. Yeah, I think she is, Love Linda Hayden. Richard Brown saying, Ripper Street is a detective series set in Whitechapel after the Ripper murders 1888, yeah. Jeff Joffey, yes, Paul. Brian Gilson, it would be great if they have the all-night horror movie marathons like they did on Halloween 1992. Yeah, you never know, they might just do that. Well, on the subject of Halloween, guys, if you want to bring witches into the equation, anybody on here fans of Elizabeth Montgomery? The blonde lady that played it was Samantha Stevens in the Bewitched series. I think she's a lovely looking girl as well. Yeah, sadly no longer with us. I've been watching. I've got the box set of Bewitched and I've been revisiting that. Some of the episodes are a bit meh, but some are quite good in that. Yeah. She played that role great, didn't she? She used to twitch her nose and that. Yeah. Oh yeah, lovely looking girl, Elizabeth Montgomery. Yeah, and she's made some great movies as well. Yeah, I thought she really pulled that role off. The guy like Dick York married to her and that, Dick York's character and that, yeah. Some great episodes, as I say. There's been a few bad ones as well, yeah. So it's pretty mixed bag, really. Very popular series when it was out, Bewitched. Like the one with Barbara Eden and I Dream of Jeannie. But yeah, love Elizabeth Montgomery. Melanie Gibson, Richard Brown, thanks, sounds good, I'll check us out. Yeah. What's your favourite horror fiction, James Herbert? My all-time favourite horror writer. Wrote to Jim many years ago when he wrote The Dark and that. I got a very nice letter back from him. Yeah, very still sadly missed to this day. He's a fantastic writer, Jim Herbert. Yeah. In regards to getting away from Jim, I'd say Stephen King. I like the Pan books of horror. I like ghost stories. I like Ramsey Campbell from my neck of the woods, Merseyside. I like some of his stories. Graham Masterson's good. Yeah, anything like that, haunted houses, animals on the rampage and that, not too keen on sci-fi horror, not a big fan of that. The only, if you want to extend that into sci-fi horror, Alien is my number one sci-fi horror movie. I've said this before. I like the Body Snatchers, I like David Trifford's, but yeah, I like a pretty broad range of horror fiction, Edward. But yeah, when you mention horror fiction, James Herbert springs right to mind because he's my number one horror writer, fantastic author. Yeah, I just wish he was still alive, to make those fantastic horror novels. Fazbear Brothers, my Halloween birthday will be going to some Halloween trail, then watching scary films for the test of the night. Okay. And regarding the Halloween franchise, guys, do you agree with me that the first two Halloween movies were the best of them all? Yeah, that's my opinion, because they could have been one big movie, couldn't they? You know, Halloween and then Halloween 2. They're my favourites then, yeah. After that, they went a bit meh, you know. And don't even get me started on whether I'm going to go and I'm going to watch the new one that's come out, because I mean, the more bad things I'm hearing about this movie, the less and less I feel the inclination to check it out. Yeah, but I most probably will, because I've watched every single Halloween movie that's ever been made. So you know, it's a foregone conclusion. I'm going to watch it now, despite all the bad reviews it's had. Yeah. Right, Brian Gilson. Brian Gilson saying, my mum is really enjoying your True Ghost Stories book. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah. I'm going to have a new one out soon. I'm going to be publishing a horror movie quiz book. Yeah, so watch out for that. I did do a book of Halloween stories as well. So I just put a book trailer on my YouTube channel for that. And I'm glad your mum's enjoying it, Brian. Yeah, my mum's really enjoying your True Ghost Stories book. I read on Amazon that you appeared on Most Haunted. What was it like to be on the show? Oh yeah, God, yeah. Oh, I remember it well. Yeah. Well, basically, to cut a long story short, I used to run excuse me. I used to run a True Ghost Story site when I first started on the internet and that. And one of the people connected with Most Haunted, he rang me up one day. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a wind-up. And he said, this is so-and-so here from Most Haunted. We saw your site, and would you like to appear on our programme? I said, oh. Yeah, when I realised it wasn't a joke, I said, oh yeah, definitely, yeah. So what he done, I said, to cut a long story short, he come down to Birkenhead and he filmed me around Hamilton Square talking about me writing, you know, what I love writing and that, and basically my life as an author. And he filmed me in Hamilton Square, and he filmed me inside and doors as well. And then he basically done like in the part where Julian Clegg used to host and that. They done that. They put that segment in and that, you know, and the girls that came down representing Carl and Yvette, they checked me to a big bottle of wine, you know, at the Tesco's and that. They took me in the car, and one of them went into Tesco, got me a bottle of wine and that. And they offered me a meal and that, but I just had me breakfast and that. Yeah, I didn't get paid for it. Some people thought I got paid for it. No, I didn't get paid for it. Just the bottle of wine, and then, as I say, they offered me a meal in a cafe down in Hamilton Square. Now, very nice girls, you know. Yeah, really, yeah, they were nice and that, you know, filming me and that, you know, talking about me writing and that, you know. So yeah, it was exciting, you know. And yeah, they even invited me to Denby, the asylum in Wales. That was where that particular week, that week I was on. They invited me down to the Most Haunted live studio, but yeah, I didn't really. It's a bit too far away. I didn't really fancy, you know, sitting in the studio, like, you know, and like going all the way down to Denby. But you know, I thanked them and that, you know, yeah. And yeah, but it's a distance away. It was in the wilderness as well. Big haunted asylum in Wales, Denby. Yeah, but oh yeah, it was exciting. You know, the two girls and that, you know, from the show and that, and you know, I was really made up. Yeah, I was, you know, I was proud and that Most Haunted recognised me work and that, me ghost site, and enjoyed it and offered me a spot on the Most Haunted live. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, very exciting. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Jeff Joffrey, David Soul was a great choice. Who'd have thought he'd go from Starsky and Hutch to Sailor's Lot? But he's great in it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's in one of the episodes as well. One of the horror movie series that was on in the early 70s. He popped up in an episode of that. I don't remember. What was it called? Was it Carnival of Horror something? I wasn't too keen on it. I sold it on eBay, but he was in one of those as well, David. So I liked him in that Clint Eastwood one as well. Was it Magnum Force where he played a rogue copper? Yeah, he was great in that. Oh, he's a great actor, David Soul. He really is. Yeah. Yeah, I like his singing as well. Don't give up on us, baby. He's a good singer. What's your thoughts? Edward's saying, what's your thoughts on Sinister? I liked the first one. I didn't like the second one. Yeah, I liked the first one. I thought the first one was very good. Yeah, but wasn't too keen on the sequel, Edward. Yeah, I think it's a shame when you know, like, you get a real good horror movie, then the second one, it doesn't live up to your expectations. Like the Fright Night I was going on about before, and you know, Insidious, the second one was pants. You know, although I will say the third Insidious was very good. You know, I didn't like the Lost Key. Was it Insidious 4, the Last Key? Didn't like that. But the first Insidious and the first Sinister, oh yeah, top class. Walk on Always Believe is saying, I said to my old man a few weeks ago, life seems to go by very quickly these days. He said, welcome to Getting Gold. I said, Dad, I'm 27, ha ha ha. I know what you mean, yeah. God, it only seems like yesterday. I left school, guys. Jubilee in 1977, I remember. Done the exams, and once I've done the exams I wanted to get it, walk out the gate, and that's it now. That period of my life's over. I was just so made up. But I do remember vividly all the punk rock craze in 1977 when I left school and that, and all the street parties and that. It always sticks in my mind, 1977. But I was glad to get away. Guys, I really was. I wasn't a great lover of school, but as I say, and even when I turned 20, it was 21 when the Falklands War was on. That only seems like yesterday. I remember, when they all went out there, Prince Andrew went out, didn't he, to the Falklands. I remember the fella coming on the telly every hour. I counted them all out, and I counted them all back. Oh, hey guys, I bet I'm stirring the memories up here. If you remember the Falklands War. Yeah, I remember all the broadcasts coming on all the time. That fella from the MOD with the glasses, I don't remember his name. Was it MacDonald? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, 21. And then when I reached 30 again, that only seems like yesterday, and I was 30. And of course, you could say the same thing as the years go on. Yeah, I think I'll stop there. I don't want to give away too much about how old I am. He made a horror movie called Old, haven't he? Is anybody seeing it? Is it any good? Right, Tony Crosby saying to Richard Brown, if you don't mind me asking, but where did you get those Ripper-Streets for that price? Gina Walpole, I used to love watching Bewitched, very enjoyable series. So Elizabeth Montgomery was really on the money in that series, and that, and Dick York, the guy who played her husband, and the woman that played her mother. Yeah, definitely. They might do a Blu-ray release of that. They have done for the I Dream of Jeannie. Richard Brown, got the Ripper Street Blu-rays on Amazon. Right, okay. Tony Crosby, cheers, Richard. Right, Richard Brown is saying, Alan, what's your favourite true life ghost story? Well, I do like the Enfield one. The Enfield Poltergeist, I love that one. Yeah. True life one. Well, I did the Amityville horror at first, but when I learnt about some of the fabrications that sort of like revolved around that, it put me right off. A lot of it was made up. Well, this is one I've read. A lot of it was apocryphal, untrue. Yeah. So the Enfield Poltergeist. Yeah, that's fantastic. That one there. Yeah, the Whaley House. Yeah, that's quite a creepy true ghost story. The Stanley Hotel that inspired Stephen King's The Shining. I like stories about that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I used to watch the when we first got our Sky in. We used to watch all the paranormal documentaries now, where they take you to these haunted locations and that. Do you remember Linda Blair doing a series, guys? The World's Scariest Places, where she hosted it. Linda Blair. I've seen a couple of them. They were quite good. Yeah. And the Ghostbusters one, which it was a Jason Hawkes. Yeah, I used to watch all of them. But what I didn't like about some of them, I thought some of them were sort of like exaggerated for a dramatic effect. Just as if you go right into a place and you hear a noise right away. Oh, someone's there. How often do ghosts appear, guys, for your benefits? Very, very rarely. They just come unannounced, ghosts, don't they? But I love the Enfield Poltergeist. Yeah, and the Entity, that's based on a true story, isn't it? Yeah, love all that. And I love the ghost stories of Liverpool as well. Is Sam, is writing your job? I will have to pick one up sometime. Yeah, I've been a self-employed writer for a few years now. Yeah, in between different jobs like workers' home jobs and that. Yeah, and it's my main ambition to write a novel one day. Yeah, so I've got an idea. I've got a rough draft in that. So I'd love to have a crack at a novel. Jeff saying, what year was that, Alan? You appeared on that show? Oh gosh, I think it was 2008, Jeff. Yeah, you can get that. You can get that edition on the Most Haunted DVDs. Denby. Look for the Most Haunted Live. I think you can get a box set of that, and it'll have the Denby Haunted Asylum. I'm on that. They sent me a CD as well. To keep for future posterity. And of course for my own benefits as well. And that. Yeah. So Yeah, it was exciting going on that. Tony Crosby, Silver Lady by David Soul was a great song. Yeah, September 1977, I seem to recall. I like Going In With My Eyes Open, that's good as well. And his minor hit, It Sure Brings Out the Love in Your Eyes, from 1978. That was I don't know why he packed in singing. You know, his career take a bit of a nosedive after he'd done all that. I'm sure he ended up broken that. He came to Liverpool a couple of years ago with the Comic Con, yeah. I remember that you could the people that went, you could get a ride in the Starsky and Hutch car around by the Albert Dock and that, yeah. And I remember him coming with Paul Michael Glaser. Yeah, I love David Soul, great actor. The Fazbear Brothers. Have you seen the film The Vanishing about the flannel? No, I haven't seen that one. The Channel Hours, I presume. Jeff Joffe, that film old, good idea, but I thought the film lost its way and it became boring. I'll avoid that one then, Jeff. Can't stand anything, can't stand as a boring movie. Just looking through my DVD collection, says Dr. Impossible, of network DVD releases. I do have another ITV series from the mid-1990s called Chiller. I've got that one, it's good, that. Yeah, Nigel Havers is in one of them. Another anthology series worth the watch. Yeah, I've got that one, Dr. Chiller. Yeah, and I believe I did a Blu-ray unboxing of that a while back. Yeah, love Chiller. I only wish there had been a few more of them. You definitely. Sorry guys, just got a bit of a what's the name at my computer. Why is it a bit loose? Just. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Sometimes a bit of a false sometimes, guys, with the laptop. Right, Brian Gilson, have you heard of The Haunting of 30 East Drive? No. I remember the Linda Blair series, The Scariest Places on Earth. It was good. Yeah, they might have released them, mightn't they, on DVD, the box set. Yeah, let's watch out for them. Tony Crosby, network releases are really fantastic. They are so, yeah, I agree with you. Got a couple of the comedy ones of them, Man About the House and that, yeah. Love Man About the House. That's one of my all-time favourite 70s sitcoms. I always had a big crush on Sally Thompson's, you know, the blonde girl Jo, and I could never understand when I first watched it why Robin didn't go for her instead of the other girl, Chrissy. But I think they wanted to do something different. I think I recall Sally Thompson saying in an interview, normally you'd expect the main protagonist to go for the blonde girl, but they tried to do something different in this. They made Robin go for Chrissy, which of course he lost to his brother. Yeah, but yeah, I loved Jo, Sally Thompson. Yeah, she conveyed the impression of she's a bit of a dizzy blonde, but she was up in the nuts. You know, she really was. Yeah. Oh, I used to love Man About the House, and the landlord George Roper. Yeah, of course they went on to have their own series, didn't they? Yeah, I love all those 70s sitcoms. Dr. Impossible, David Soul's been in a wheelchair for some considerable time. Oh yeah, saw him, yeah. I saw him, he was in a wheelchair, yeah. He was in Holby City many years ago, but he's not well at all. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, he said something about when he'd done that thing in Starsky and Hutch, you know, when he jumped on the car, he'd done permanent damage or something. You know, so ever since then, it's come against them, you know, yeah. Yeah, it's very sad, isn't it, to see him in a wheelchair. Richard Brown, David Soul lives in England now, I think, yeah. Jeff Joffe, like you say, Alan, time goes too fast. David Soul is 80. Is he 80 already? Didn't know he was that old, Jeff. I thought he was about maybe 74, 75. I didn't know he was 80. What the heck? Wow. I don't know what old Paul Michael Glaser is. Used to like Huggy Bear and that as well. He was good, Huggy Bear. Yeah, so as I say, guys, we'll go on till about 4 o'clock, and then we'll call it an afternoon. But I enjoyed it anyway, guys. You know, thanks for turning up. Yeah. So all new thing this for me, going live on afternoon and that. You know, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like, yeah, really good. Shane is saying Borley Rectory has always interested me out. That's another good one, yeah, Borley Rectory. I've got the Borley Rectory encyclopedia, well, the companion there, on my bookshelf, yeah. Oh yeah, fascinating, yeah. Harry Price, the famous ghost hunter, yeah. His name's synonymous with that case, isn't it? Borley Rectory has always interested me, Alan. What's your favourite film about the Rectory? My favourite film about the Rectory, oh gosh, I haven't really got one. There's been a few have been very substandard, especially that one with the American Soldier, and that was a terrible one, that. Really, well, I think I've included that one of me most boring. If you watch me videos where I say about me most boring horror movies, I think I've done about 3 of them. You will see that one included. But yeah, a lot fascinating case of Borley Rectory. It's knocked down now, isn't it? Now the Rectory, yeah, it's knocked down. Richard Brown, it'll be Starsky and Crutch now then. Oh gosh. Everyone a gem. Excuse me. Yeah, so so I say, I hope you are all looking forward to Halloween then. You know, you've got everything sorted out if you're going trick or treating. But as I say, yeah, doesn't half come around quick, like, doesn't it? You know. Excuse me. It always seems like yesterday. It was the last Halloween. I saw a movie, guys. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. What's it called? It's a new movie. Halloween. I think it's Halloween. It's Aunt Ethel's. Has anybody seen that one? Halloween. I'm sure it's Aunt Ethel. It's something to do with Halloween and Auntie something. Yeah, I saw it like on one of the I think it was Amazon. One of those channels. Yeah. I don't know too much about it, and I thought, oh, nice. Halloween. It's Aunt Ethel's. Yeah. Tony's saying a classic comedy live stream would be great, Alan. I might do one, so yeah, I might do one of them in the near future. Yeah, love me 70s comedies. Yeah, I grew again like the Universal horror, the horror movies, and that they were a big staple of me. You know, a childhood, the 70s comedies and that. Yeah, loved it, especially on the buses. You know, as I say, Man About the House, Frank Spencer. You know, Bless This House with the late great Sid James. That was a good one. Diana Coupland was good in that. Played his wife. Yeah. Yeah, and of course there's 2 kids and that, you know. Yeah, oh yeah, love all them. He was great, Sid James, wasn't he? That cheeky laugh he had and that, you know. Yeah, and getting back to the paranormal, guys, I believe his ghost is still haunting the theatre where he worked. Yeah, when he died in 1976. Yeah, and Bruce Forsyth's ghost as well, supposed to be haunting the Palladium. Yeah, strange things have happened. I don't know if you guys have heard any of this. Yeah, Bruce Forsyth, Tommy Cooper, his ghost supposed to be still around and that. Yeah, letting you know that they're still there and that. You know, yeah, oh yeah. When you think about it, like it's fascinating. Richard Brown, do you like the VHS film series, Alan? I watched the first VHS, Richard, and I wasn't impressed at all. But then again, I'm not really a great lover of these kind of found footage kind of movies and that. Not a great fan of them, so I'm not going to be bothering checking out the sequel. Has anybody? I've heard a lot of talk about this other one called the ABC of Death. I haven't seen it. It's a kind of like, it's supposed to be like different scenarios, a bit like an anthology, but there's no real story to them. It's just like different, I think they're 5 or 10 minute segments of people getting killed different ways. Has anybody seen them, the ABC of Death movies? What did you think of them? Let me know. Brian Gilson, have you seen the Halloween anthology film Bad Candy? It got released last year. Bad Candy. I think I saw that one on Amazon Prime and I wasn't very impressed by it. If it's the same one, I'm sure I've seen that one. Bad Candy. Yeah, I didn't like it. Dr. Impossible. Our neighbour just down from us in our cottage looks like Kathy Bates. Oh God, from Misery. Even the postman said to me, "You've got Misery as a you've got Misery as a neighbour." Just so she doesn't come up with a sledgehammer. Oh yeah, the sledgehammer. It's even worse than a bloody book. She bloody chops his bloody butt off and bloody has the bloody, what's the name, the blowtorch in the book. Oh God, what the heck. Talking about people who resemble horror characters. I've seen 1 or 2 people. Well, we used to go to work on the train of a morning. 1 or 2 people look like Boris Karloff. Yeah. And Peter Cushing. I seen one guy who was a spitting image of Peter Cushing. You know, I come in and said to me, "One bloody, I've just seen Peter Cushing's doppelganger on the train." Yeah, I've seen quite a few people. It looks like Boris Karloff. Yeah, and you think it's them? And I believe when Christopher Lee, when he at the height of his Dracula fame, I believe when people bumped into him when he was, of course, when he was off, you know, when he was with his wife and that, you know, when he wasn't acting and that, they say, there he is, there's Dracula, you know, in the streets and that, you know. And I believe a couple of times he'd go like that to him when he saw Christopher Lee, you know, because, you know, knows for playing Dracula and that, you know, yeah. But when you think about it, like, you know, the funny stories about people that look like horror actors and that, you know, and the funny things that's happened to, you know, horror actors and that, you know. Another story, that the guy that played Wolf Creek, John Jarvis, yeah, he was giving a lift or something to somebody. He wouldn't get in the car and he saw who it was. He said, I'm not getting in the car with you. He said, I only act that part, and he ran away. It's so funny if some people think it's a bloody character, it's real, you know. It's like Coronation Street. I read once that people think it's actually real, people are real and that. Oh, crazy. Jeff Joffe, Alan, you must remember the original Monsters TV series. I do, yeah. Well, Rob Zombie's done a Monsters movie, and oh my god, it's awful. I believe there's been bad things, bad reviews about that, Jeff. Yeah, I won't be checking that out. I watched an American guy, and he really had a rant about it. He said, oh, it's an awful effing, you know, well, I don't swear on this channel, but you know what I mean, don't, yeah. Oh, effing awful effing movie and that, you know. And yeah, I definitely won't be checking that out. Yeah, I did like the old series of the Monsters, used to watch it as a kid, but I won't be checking that movie out. Tony Crosby saying there's some right misery guts in our streets. Richard Brown, the ABCs of death are a bit hit and miss, right? Some good bits, some bad bits. Yeah, this is, you normally find this, don't you, with some of these anthology things, you know, a bit of a hit and miss. Amicus were always good. I could never fault one single Amicus horror anthology. Every single story was good in them. Edward, what's your thoughts on Candyman? Well, I like the first one with Tony Todd. I did not like the I didn't like the second one. Wasn't too keen on the third one, and I did not like that remake. I didn't like that. Well, it wasn't a remake, was it? It was a continuation of the story. I didn't like that. Yeah, so I let that go. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. But actually, I watched that on. Yeah, comes to think of it, I didn't buy that one. I watched it on Amazon just to make sure before I ventured to fork out, and I'm very glad I did, because, as you know, I didn't like that at all. So yeah, so I won't be buying that. Won't be having that one to my collection. Jeff Joffe, there was a guy who ran our local post office who looked exactly like Peter Cushing when Peter was about 65. Same build, face, and the same widow's peak hairline. Haha. Oh god. Talking about like lookalikes, guys. Getting away from the horror male actors. Many moons ago, there was a girl I used to work with a girl. I won't go into detail on that, you know, because I've had quite a few jobs and that. And she was a spitting image of Agnieszka from ABBA. I mean, she really was. She had the same long blonde hair. She had the nice face and that, you know, because sometimes like you get a girl with long blonde hair, but she hasn't got the face to match it. But this girl had a lovely looking face, and of course, like with it being looking like Agnieszka from ABBA, she got quite a few male admirers and that. But yeah, but I won't go into too much detail about it. I don't like discussing my personal life and that. But you know, oh yeah, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was Agnieszka from ABBA, you know, because she just was spitting, and it was a bit darker. Like, it wasn't really like really bright blonde. It was like a honey blonde, looked like Susie Kendall's. But oh yeah, lovely looking girl and that, you know. And you know, of course, like I wasn't the only one that fancied her, you know. But oh, she's a lovely looking girl. She's a very nice girl as well. Oh, she's the image of Agnieszka from ABBA. If you saw her, guys, I'm not kidding. If you saw her, you think she reminds me of Agnieszka from ABBA. Yeah, and of course she's one of my number one crushes, Agnieszka from ABBA. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just trying to think back as well. Any other ones that well, she was the closest in that. Yeah, but oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I can't really think of anybody else in my past that's resembled you know, really glamorous girl, and I would have liked in that. But oh yeah, you think like, I remember I used to get the ABBA magazine, guys, and they used to have like people sending in letters, and they said, do you look like Agnieszka or Bjorn or Benny or Frida and that, and you get people, you know, sending the odd photo and saying, and some of them, you really did look like them, you know, absolute spitting image of them and that. Honestly, you know, the resemblance was remarkable. It really was, you know. My dad, a lot of people used to say to him, do you know who you remind me of? And he said no. He said John Steed from the Avengers, and he did. He was the spitting image of Patrick Macnee. He really was. He had the same eyes. I've said this before. He had the same eyes. He had the same round face, and he was. You think, you know, my dad's gone now. God rest his soul. But he was a spitting image of Patrick Macnee from the Avengers, and that. Some people said he looked like Van Johnson. My mum's mum said he looked like Van Johnson, the old American actor. But I thought he looked more like Patrick Macnee, guys. You know. He was spitting image of him, and one of my relatives said to him, she thought he looked like the $6 Million Man, because he used to, his lip like this, like he used to put his lip up somehow, like Lee Majors and that. Only the lip, like, and that, you know. But he looked to me like he looked more like John, you know, Patrick Macnee from the Avengers. Tony Crosby, I preferred the original Addams Family series to the Munsters. I loved the quirky humour and cousin. I loved the original Addams Family series to Munsters. I loved the quirky humour and cousin S. Rice. We've got about half an hour, guys, and I'll finish at 4 o'clock. So as I say, you get as many questions in as you like. Ask me anything at all. Doesn't have to be on horror or Halloween. Ask me anything. I say, but I've really enjoyed it, and that, you know, it's been great. So if any of you guys ever worked with anybody or gone to school with anybody that looked the spitting image of a pop star or an actor, let me know. Yeah, fascinating and that, you know. So when you see people in the street and they remind you, you know, on the train or on the bus, or I say in the street, and they remind you, you think it's actually them. You know, they look that. Well, you say everybody's got a double, don't they? You know, you actually think it's them. You know, of course it's not, like, you know, but you actually think it's them. Like you look like them that much. You know. Paul Conway, City of the Dead is a great watch for Halloween. Yeah, it is brimming with atmosphere and has a spooky vibe. Yeah, definitely. Richard Brown, did you like the Avengers and the New Avengers? Yeah, I did. Yeah, the New Avengers was revived, wasn't it, in the autumn of 1976 with Purdy, Joanna Lumley and Gambis. Yeah, Grace. Yeah, yes, I loved all the Avengers and that. Yeah, fantastic. I didn't like that movie they made though. They didn't have Patrick Macnee, and I didn't like that. Was it Emma Thurman played Emma Peel? Oh, Diana Rigg was another big crush of mine. Yeah, lovely lady. No, sadly, no longer with us. Very sad in the James Bond movie, wasn't it? What happened to her? But I won't say what it was if any of you haven't seen it, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Yeah, she was great in that as well. Edward's asking me, what's your thoughts on the Haunted Mansion? Not a fan of that. Yeah, I'm not too. That's the one at Eddie Murphy, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not really a fan of it. Yeah, it's like movies like Haunted Honeymoon and that, movies like that. Not really a fan of those. The comedy's got to be done really good and that, you know. Otherwise, it's my favourite horror. My favourite all-time. I've said this before. My favourite all-time horror comedy is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, closely followed by American Werewolf in London. Yeah. I'm not really a great fan of most of the horror comedies. Haven't really impressed me. I tell you what I do like is a good horror comedy. The Sharon Tate, Roman Polanski one, The Fearless Vampire Killers or Dance of the Vampires. I'm going to do a full-length video review of that sometime in the future. I love that movie. I love the snowy setting. I love Sharon Tate. Roman Polanski's great in it, and the bumbling vampire boss is boss and that. This old guy and that, you know. Oh, they're hilarious, the pair of them and that, you know. They just don't know how to kill a vampire at all. Oh, it's fantastic. And the scene in the ballroom as well, you know. Oh, fantastic movie that. My mum hates it, but I love it, you know. So I hope to do a full length in-depth review of that soon. Right. Dr. Impossible, the New Avengers was great. Used to watch that on ITV. Man, great times on TV in those days. Now it's Strictly Come Dancing. I know, yeah, that's it, isn't it? And The Voice. Oh God, don't even get me started on The Voice. Oh, I had it on last night, and oh God, I was not impressed by those songs. I was not impressed at all. You know. Oh yeah, you know. I mean, what I don't like about a lot of these TV shows, when you know you get them on, these wannabes, they don't so much sing the song as bloody shout it. You know, they shouting that, and what gets me as well, when he starts shouting, all the audience go, hey! I said, you know, don't he bloody screaming and shouting every time he's a high note to go, hey! They would put bloody cue cards up or something to make them start shouting, start, you know, cheering and applauding and that, you know. Oh, yeah, there's too much shouting. I like that bloody X Factor as well. Got on me nerves, like, oh, you know, even my mum said that they'd shouting the bloody song. I said, yeah, they are shouting it. That's not singing, that's shouting. They want to take a leaf out of the classic singers books like Elvis, you know, Petula Clark, Mary Hopkin, who sang songs properly. You know what I mean? Not all. There's so much bloody shouting now in these songs. See, even the fellas and that, bloody shouting. And a lot of the songs, guys, I don't know if you agree with me, a lot of the songs are tuneless. They've got no tune to them. You know, they just go, oh, bloody hell. Right. Tony Crosby, do you have a favourite song or comedy series to cheer yourself up if you're feeling down on the buses? Always cheers me up, that. I love it. I've got the box set. I've got the old series in a big clamshell set. Love On the Buses. I say Man About the House. Favourite song that cheers me up? Oh, there's many. It really is, yeah. Star Trekking Across the Universe. That always brings a smile to my face. Yeah, when he takes it, there's Klingons on the Starboard now. Yeah, I some great lyrics in that one, that 1987 Star Trekking Across the Universe. I love that one. Yeah, it's worse than that. He's Dead Jim, Dead Jim. I thought that one of the greatest comedy songs ever made, that Star Trekking. Yeah, Monster Mash, of course. Yeah, I like to put Morecambe and Wise on as well to cheer me up. They're quite good. Yeah, Abbott and Costello cheer me up. Yeah, I like Laurel and Hardy. Yeah, all those. Yeah, Dick Emery's good. Yeah, when he takes the stupid yob off. Dad, I think I got it wrong again, Dad. Oh yeah, and he played that stupid yob character. Yeah, and a priest with the teeth in and that. Yeah, I like Dick Emery. Yeah, but yeah, Morecambe and Wise, as I say. You know, On the Buses, Man About the House, always cheer me up. Abbott and Costello. Jeff Joffrey, that Avengers film sucked. It did, Jeff, it did. They completely missed the mark. They did indeed. I didn't like that Starsky and Hutch movie either. I thought that was a load of rubbish. Richard Brown, the Avengers and the new Avengers are great stuff. Diana Rigg was gorgeous, yeah. So was Joanna Lumley, yeah. Love Joanna Lumley in the Dracula, the Satanic Rites of Dracula as well, where she played Van Helsing's granddaughter. Dr. Impossible, did you ever see Bad Moon from 1996, Alan? Werewolf film that never gets talked about. I've heard a lot of good things about that one, Doctor, yeah. I'll have to get that on Blu-ray. Yeah, I believe the werewolf's very good in that. Very well done. Edward says, what's your thoughts on Sleepy Hollow? Well, if you mean the movie, well, I've only seen one movie. I haven't seen the series. It was okay. Years since I saw it, though. Yeah, I've only seen the one Sleepy Hollow movie. It was okay. Yeah, the Headless Horseman, wasn't it? Jeff said, I haven't watched TV for 8 years. Only watch old stuff, right? Yeah, you're not missing much. Dr. Impossible, favourite TV, fake TV, all started with bloody pop stars on ITV in 1997, and it's never ended. Plus the endless cooking shows, yeah, that have never stopped since the early 1990s. I know, yeah, there's too many of them. I don't like that Gordon Ramsay one at all. You know, effing and blinding and that in the bloody, you know, in the what's the name, you know, in the cooking and that. Yeah, not my cup of tea, that. Brian Gilson to Dr. Impossible. Bad Moon is a good werewolf film. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Paul Conway, what did you think of Dracula with Gary Oldman? I didn't like that at all, and I believe I've mentioned that in one of my most boring horror movies now, or most disappointing Dracula movies. I didn't like it at all, that Gary Oldman one. I hated it. I thought it was awful, and Oldman looked like an old woman. He did look like an old woman, that put this ridiculous Mickey Mouse thing on his head. Oh, I hated that. There's only one Dracula for me, and you know who it is. So I'm not going to, well, I think I will mention it, the late, great Christopher Lee. As far as I'm concerned, guys, I'm not going to go on, because I've gone on about Christopher Lee a lot in my videos now. He was the best Dracula, period, yeah. The most frightening Dracula, yeah. The most charismatic Dracula, definitely. No question. Right, Brian Gilson, I really enjoyed Nearest and Dearest. It's really funny. Oh, Walter, have you been? Oh, yeah, the Pickle Factory with Jimmy Jewell. Yeah, and the late Grace Hilda Baker. Oh, yeah, fantastic, yeah. And Hilda Baker went on to do Nos on Your Nelly, didn't she? Yeah, she went on to do that, yeah. You remember Arthur Mullard? Yes, my dear. He was quite good as well, Arthur Mullard and that, yeah. I used to love Nearest and Dearest, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Was it Madge Hindle played Walter's wife, yeah. Have you been? And when Nellie used to say, oh, I must get Little Hand for Tony's watch, yeah. This is all classic TV, this, guys, yeah. I used to love it when he used to do the All-Star Comedy Carnival at Christmas time. Do you remember that, guys? And if you're here holding up to remember it, when you get like a bit of Man About the House, and you get a bit of like On the Buses, and you get somebody like Jimmy Tarbuck saying, and now we're going to go over to see how the gang at the depot was spending their Christmas, and they go to On the Buses, and then we go to the hospital. It was at St Swithin's for Doctor at Large. I'm sure it was St Swithin's. We'll go over to St Swithin's to see how the doctors are spending Christmas. Yeah. I've got one of them on DVD. All Star Comedy Carnival. Yeah, that was another big highlight of me Christmas viewing. Tony Crosby loved the Dick Emery vicar with the teeth, yeah, and the woman who was always chasing men saying, "Are you married?" Yeah. I tell you another big highlight of me 70s viewing, guys. I've said this before. Bruce Forsyth's Generation Game. Oh, I absolutely loved Brucey in that show. I thought he was fantastic. You know, right from the moments when he used to come on, he'd say, "Nice to see you nice," and then he'd introduce Anthea, his then wife, lovely looking girl, Anthea Redfern, yeah, and he'd say, "Give us a twirl." Oh, one of my top memories of growing up in the 70s now. And when he'd have the contestants on, he'd have the little card and that, and he'd give like a look at the camera, if there's anything funny on the card, and he'd come out with a quip, yeah, and he'd participate in the games and that, yeah. Oh yeah, I used to love Bruce Forsyth's Generation Game. Mike Yarwood, and always another big favourite of mine. Mike Yarwood, yeah. Right. Sorry if I missed any comments here, guys. Count York was good, says Paul, yeah. Dick Emery, yeah, we've had that one, haven't we? Dr. Impossible, Diana Riggs with Sex on Legs. Tasty, sexy, and very nice. God bless her. Yeah. She was in I think it was her last film, Last Night in Soho. She was good in that as well. Yeah, obviously much older than in that, but I know what you mean. Yeah, my dad liked Diana Rigg as well. Yeah, and my dad liked a big crush of my dad's was Linda Carter, who played Wonder Woman. I like Jane Seymour as well. I like Jane Seymour. Yeah, she looks wonderful for her age, doesn't she? Jeff Joffrey, oh you are awful, but I like you. And the fella goes staggering back, wouldn't he? Yeah. Oh god, yeah, he's great, Dick Emery. He really was. Dr. Impossible saying, until Diana Rigg did that BBC drama about a controlling mother in a brilliant acted story called Mother Love. I haven't seen that one, Doctor. She likes poisoning people, getting her way. Oh god, horrible that. Oh, I didn't know she'd made a series like that, like, yeah. Oh, horrible that. Right, Paul Conway. Wasn't Rutger Hauer Van Helsing in that awful Dracula film? Major Argento fail. Yeah, he's been in a few vampire films. Rutger Hauer. Yeah, not a big fan of those modern Dracula ones either. I didn't like that one with the first one where Dracula turned out to be Judas Scariest. I thought that was a bloody ridiculous idea, that. You know, Dracula should be Dracula. Never mind bloody Judas Scariest or any other figure from fiction. Dracula should be Dracula. Oh, I think they needed a new script writer for that. Richard Brown, do you remember the All-Star Woolworths Christmas advert? I do, yeah. And whenever I used to see a board game that was advertised, I'd say to me mum, I want that for Christmas, and that, you know, the likes of it, The Fastest Gun, Escape from Coldest was a big favourite of mine in the 70s, and that. Oh, I can never escape from that bloody castle, you know. Yeah, oh yeah, the memories are coming back, guys, and that was when the autumns were much colder. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I don't want to go on too much about this because you all know my thoughts on the bloody hot weather. I don't like all this warm weather we're getting for autumn. You know, autumn should be cool and crisp now. You know, have a nice and all. I can't sleep, have a nice and that. You know, kicking the bedclothes off. Yeah, I missed it. You know, the autumns, like when I was a kid growing up, they were really. You had that nip in the air, didn't you? I don't like all this warm weather. You get the odd ones that rave over it. Oh, bring it on! We're going to save our electricity bills. What I say to that meh. we don't all like bloody warm weather and autumn and that. I like my autumns to be traditionally cool and that, you know. We had enough of that heat in bloody August and that, you know. It's all down to this global warming, guys, isn't it? You know, I prefer the cool weather. I'm not a big fan. I don't like the hot weather in the summer. I certainly don't like bloody warm weather in autumn. I just thought we don't have a bloody sunny warm Christmas. We did get that a couple of years ago, guys. If you remember, Christmas Day was like a bloody June day, and I hated that. I'd love to see a white Christmas. I really would, yeah. Well, get away from the weather now, because you know you all know my thoughts. Those of you familiar, you know how much I hate the hot weather and love the cold weather. Paul Conway, the praying mantis, yeah. I'm going to start whizzing through these guys now and get as many as in, because it's near. I've got a quarter of an hour, so if you get you know, I'm sorry if I missed anybody out, but I'm trying to get through as many as I can. So if you want to keep asking me, get your questions in, I'll do my best to be, you know, answer them as swiftly as I can. Cheers, guys. Tony Crosby, Steptoe and Son was, in my opinion, the greatest sitcom ever made, brilliantly written. I love Steptoe and Son. Harold. Sorry about the pun. I'm sorry about these impressions, guys. I couldn't resist that one. You dirty old man. Iconic characters. Mike Yarwood or Rory Bremner. You need not worry. Right. Dr. Impossible. I used to love Kenny Everett. Yeah. It's all done in the best possible taste. There I go again with me poor impressions. The Thames TV series was quality. Yeah. Used to watch that on a Monday night. The Kenny Everett video show. Remember when he done the Bee Gees with the teeth? Paul Conway. I didn't like Bewitched after Dick York left Rice. I haven't seen any of the later episodes without Dick York, actually, Paul. Tony Crosby, Dr. Impossible. I have that Thomas box set. It's great, yeah. Dr. Impossible. Howard was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie with Donald Sutherland. I quite enjoyed that, but I never saw the Buffy series, right? Paul Conway. Speaking of Elizabeth Montgomery, have you seen Victim, where the girl gets murdered and put in the wicker basket? I really liked it. I haven't seen that one, Paul. Yeah, what's it called? Victim. I'll have to watch out for that one. Yeah, I know she did make a couple of thriller horror movies, didn't she? Elizabeth Montgomery. Dr. Impossible, Tony, took Network many years to release that Kenny Everett series due to rights it far outweighs the BBC series, yeah? And anybody on here remember Marty Feldman, the fellow with the big eyes who was in Young Frankenstein? He was good. He had his own series in the 70s and that. He was great in Young Frankenstein, wasn't he? Played Igor. Well, I hope you all remember to put your clocks back here last night, guys, yeah? But, oh yeah, love Marty Feldman. Anybody fans of the other, I don't think he was in it, was he, Marty Feldman? Blazing Saddles, Mel Brooks. Yeah, not really a big fan of that one. Blazing Saddles. Yeah, I like the song that Frankie Lane sang. He wore a blazing saddle. Yeah, it's not really a favourite of mine, that one, Blazing Saddles. Richard Brown, Rising Damp and Reggie Perrin. Yeah, more so Rising Damp for me. Dr. Impossible, Marty Feldman was great in God We Trust with Richard Pryor. I haven't seen that one, Doctor. Yeah, just waiting for some more comments to come in, guys. Yeah, as I say, ask me anything you like for the last couple of minutes, and I'll be only too happy to answer any questions what you've got. Yeah, so well, I hope you enjoy, you know, whatever you do, and as I say, whatever you do, and tomorrow night, I hope it goes well for you and that, you know. And if you go trick or treating, I hope you manage to bag some a sizable amount of goodies and that. Yeah, yeah, so I don't know what horror movies the television's putting on for Halloween. I haven't actually seen the programmes, yeah. So I must probably stick a couple of Blu-rays on and that. You know, I haven't really decided yet what movie, because I've got a big horror collection, and I'm gonna have to find. They're building up, so I'm gonna have to sort of like accommodate them, because I've got like quite a pile there what I can't stick on the shelves. So I've got that many movies and that, so I'm gonna have to get some shelving and that, you know, to accommodate them. Yeah, so in regards to Hammer films, guys, if you're a Hammer fan, have you got an all-time favourite Hammer horror movie? I've got, there's that many I couldn't name, but if it was pushed to name two, I'd say Dracula 1958, the first Christopher Lee one, and then I would say Frankenstein wise, I would say The Curse of Frankenstein with the late great Peter Cushing. So they're my two, I say it was pushed. I like virtually all the Hammer films, but if it was pushed, I would say Dracula 1958 and The Curse of Frankenstein. With Peter Cushing, both Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Yeah. I'll tell you what's a good Hammer movie, guys. The Reptile. Have you seen that one? The Reptile. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, and the Devil Rides Out. Oh, that's a fantastic one. That. Yeah, Charles Gray as MacArthur. Oh, he's a real formidable villain. Very, very sinister. Yeah. Right. Got some comments coming in now. Right. Just bear with me, guys. I'm just Right, Tony Crosby Network was going to release the Marty Feldman TV series a while back, but Paul has even gave us a release date. Okay. Gina's saying, thanks for another great live stream, really enjoyed it, happy Halloween everyone. Oh, thanks very much, Gina. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, and I hope to talk to you again in my next live stream. I hope to do one on Thursday, fingers crossed, nothing crops up. I'll be back live again on Thursday night at 8 o'clock, yeah, God willing. Brian Gilson, what are your plans for Halloween? Not really much, Brian, just chill out. I don't go around trick-or-treating, maybe just stick a couple of horror movies on and that, chill out, yeah. You doing anything nice? Richard Brown, they used to put Carry On Screaming on the BBC Halloween. I love Carry On Screaming, Odd Bob and that, yeah, and Fenella Fielding in that, in a tight red dress and that, yeah, yeah. Harry H. Corbett's great in that as well, isn't he? Dr. Impossible. Heard about that. The BBC have quite a few back catalogue titles that I doubt will hit DVD. Dark Angels, one I never thought Network would get from the BBC, okay? Edward saying, what's your favourite Amicus horror? I would say Tales from the Crypt, Edward, closely followed by The House of Drip Blood and Asylum. You can see they've got the posters there. Love Amicus and that, yeah, they're the top for me when it comes to horror anthology movies. I like Dr. Terror's House of Horrors as well, that's a good one. Right, Dr. Impossible. Alan, did you ever see Adam Adamant's, the original Austin Powers? Don't think I ever actually saw that, but I do remember it being on the telly. I don't think I actually saw any episodes of that, Doctor. Yeah, Adam Adamant, yeah. I remember Danger Man with Patrick McGoohan, watched a couple of episodes of that. I didn't like the series you done after that, The Prisoner. I couldn't bloody understand what was going on in that. And I know I'm not alone in that sentiment. Yeah, I couldn't. It's set in a Welsh village, wasn't it? Yeah, the part where he says, I resign, over and over again. Oh yeah, couldn't get into that at all. The Prisoner. I did like, I tell you what, a movie like Patrick McGoohan in, where he was in charge of the jail. Was it Clint Eastwood Escape from Alcatraz? He was good in that. Patrick McGoohan as the head warden. Yeah. And he's been in Columbo as well, hasn't he? He played an army general in Columbo. Yeah. Right. Brian's saying, I'm just going to watch a few horror films like Trick or Treat. Good one. Yeah. Fantastic one. That. Dr. Impossible, Man in a Suitcase was quality stuff. Yeah, McGill. Yeah, Richard Bradford. That's one of my all-time favourite TV themes, that Man in a Suitcase, which I remember was later adapted for the Chris Evans Friday Nights series. I don't remember what it was called, but he played that, didn't he? On a Friday night. Around about 1999 to early 2000s. Yeah, I forget the title of it. The series what Evans hosted. Paul Conway, Network released some great obscure British films. I picked up loads of cheap DVDs in a sale. Some good ones from Barbara Shelley. I love Barbara Shelley, Paul. Love her. Fantastic actress. Dr. Impossible, TFI. That's the one. TFI Friday. That's the one with Chris Evans in. TFI Friday, yeah. Thanks for that, Doctor. Right, so we've got a couple of minutes then, guys. So if you want to get your questions in, I'll go through them and answer as many as I can. I've enjoyed it, and I really have, and and thanks for coming. Really appreciate it, guys. And as I say, all going well. I'll be back on again this Thursday night with another live stream. It's gone over quick, I tell you. It only says about 10 minutes ago I started and that. But right. Richard's saying, I'll be reading a book of stories by Nigel Neal, which has just been republished. He's great, Nigel Neal, he's a great writer, didn't he write the Quatermass movies, and that he wrote that series as well, Beasts, that was on in 1976, great writer. Right, 5 minutes to go, guys. So I'll whiz through as fast as I can. Right, Dr. Impossible, Beast was great, Nigel Neal. Definitely. Mel's saying, have a spookier Halloween. See you Thursday. Oh, thanks very much, Mel. Thanks for turning up. Nice talking to you again. Enjoy your Halloween, whatever you decide to do. And and I say all going well. I'll talk to you again on Thursday. I'll be back again on Thursday, God willing, at 8 o'clock. Thanks for dropping by, Mel. Tony Crosby, great TV theme tunes in the 60s and 70s, memorable, unlike today's. Joe 90 was another good one. That was another good one, Joe 90s, and Stingray, Thunderbirds Are Go. Oh, I loved all them, the Baron, that had a good TV theme as well, I like the theme from Crossroads as well. Tony Hatch composed, loved that one as well, and Bell's Lost. Anybody remember Bell's Lost from 1973? Carmel McSharry, that had a fantastic theme tune, that. Doctor saying, cheers Alan, see you Thursday for more fun. Oh, thanks very much, Doctor. It was great talking to you again. Thanks for stopping by, and all going well. I'll talk to you again on Thursday. Enjoy your Halloween, whatever you decide to do. Sam, great show again, Alan. Oh, thanks very much, Sam. Thanks for stopping by. Really enjoyed chatting to you. And have a nice Halloween, whatever you decide to do. Thanks, really appreciate it. I've enjoyed it, guys. Something different now. I thought I'd do something like for Halloween and that, I didn't bother getting dressed up as a movie monster and that, I think this is quite enough, to be going on with today's sort of like stream and that. One of my all-time favourites horror characters, the great Lon Chaney Jr., the Wolfman. Tony Crosby, have a good Halloween, Alan Bale. Oh, thanks very much, To. I really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you've enjoyed the show. And all going well. See you Thursday. Thanks, To. I've enjoyed it, guys. I really have. It's flew over. It really has, And some great topics as well. Not just horror, but, as I say, about the 70s TV shows and that. Really enjoyed it, I'll say apologise for the idiots outside before on the motorbike and that, and any other interruptions they might have had, Do you know where what's the name? Don't they? Do you know when to start bloody causing a bloody nuisance and that? They want to get a bloody life. But as I say, I've really enjoyed it, guys. I really have. I'll pop down and do myself some dinner. Now, say like if you're going to watch some movies for Halloween, I hope you enjoyed them and that. Any movies what you haven't seen and that. I hope you liked them and that. I've still got to see that Men. I haven't seen that. I've heard good things about it and I've heard bad things about it. So I'll check that out. I might rent it out on Amazon. Sam is saying, are you carving a pumpkin, Alan? Never carved a pumpkin in my life. In my day, it was all about duck apples. It wasn't all all trick or treating and that, and bangs on the door every 5 minutes and that. It was just duck apple night. Didn't really make a big deal about it and that, when I was a kid. So no, I won't be doing anything like that. Richard Brown, any subject for Thursday, Alan? I was thinking about, there's a couple of subjects I've got in mind here, Richard. Maybe demons, you know, black magic movies, you know, witches and demons, yeah, but I haven't really decided yet. As I say, I've got a couple, Susie Kendall one, maybe Susie Kendall, glamorous movie, the Susie Kendall video, top 5 films, but in regards to the live, I could do the glamorous ladies of horror. That might be an interesting one, you know, talk about your favourite pin-ups and that, your favourite crushes, you know, in horror movies and that, yeah, so that's an option, yeah. Alright then, guys, I'm going to love you and leave us all now. So thanks again, guys. I really enjoyed it and that, you know, thanks for turning up, and I hope you all have a nice Halloween and that, you know, whatever you decide to do and that. And as I say, if you watch any movies, I hope you enjoyed them and that. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it and that. I'd say this is a first for me, doing it like a Halloween live, or first, like doing a live daytime anyway, you know, yeah, so yes, I really enjoyed it and that, yeah. Alright then, guys, I'm going to go now, so take care, and as I say, all going well, I'll be back on Thursday with another live stream. Okay then, bye guys, bye.